beautiful day for college football at the beach. Temperatures in the 60s as we come to you from Conway, South Carolina. The Chanticleers of Coastal Carolina taking on the Eagles of Georgia Southern here in the Sun Belt. And with that, welcome up to the booth, everybody, alongside Stan Luter. I'm Jeff McCarriger. Stan, for Coastal Carolina, coming off a win, their first ever Sun Belt victory, but taking on a red-hot Eagles team. Georgia Southern, like a brand-new team. They've won 2 straight. They've looked really good.
Yeah, they've gone the ups and downs of this season, and with the coaching change, now they feel like they're playing Georgia Southern football, winning their last 2 football games on a very impressive win over Louisiana. And Coastal Carolina, been in growing pains this year, moving from FBS to FCS and everything that happens there. But this is a good football team, and they're getting better. This is a momentum game for both teams. Win today, and the spring practice and fall practice 2018 will be a lot easier.
All right, let's break this one down. Obviously, 2 teams that love to run the football, especially Georgia Southern. We're going to see some really good running backs today.
Yeah, I tell you what, I really like these 2 guys. First of all, you got Wesley Fields. Fields is a grinder. 2015 was a GoDaddy offensive most valuable player. Last week ran for over 185 yards and a touchdown in their big win over Louisiana. He's versatile also. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. They'll swing him out. Sometimes they run a lot of stuff inside with option play. I think you're going to really enjoy watching a young, outstanding running back in Wesley Fields. Then there's the veteran, Oshamara Abercrombie. He's waited his turn, and now as a senior has had a very impactful year. 606 yards rushing, 5 touchdowns. The only player for Coastal Carolina to have 2 100-yard rushing games. And as a senior, he wants to go out on a positive note.
Senior day for Coastal Carolina here from Conway. They're going to have their hand full against Georgia Southern, a team that's won the last 2 and scored 86 points in the last 2 games. Kickoff comes your way next here on ESPN. And back here in Conway, South Carolina, just about 20 or 30 minutes up the coast from the beautiful beaches of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Alongside Stan Luter, I'm Jeff McCarriger. Sunbelt matchup here this afternoon as we take a look at the head coaches and what a job that Chad Lunsford has done here with Georgia Southern. We were just talking about it, Stan, and how he has completely turned this team around, this season around here in just the last couple of weeks. This team that started 0-9 all of a sudden has won 2 straight. They've scored 86 points in their last 2 games. So what a job he has done. He was just promoted on Monday to the new head coach here for Georgia Southern. Meanwhile, on the other side, coaching changes for Coastal Carolina as well, as Jamie Chadwell right now the interim head coach for Joe Moglia, who is finishing up his 5-month medical sabbatical. Nothing really dangerous, as we've heard Joe talk about all season long. Nothing life-threatening. He's just been dealing with some asthmatic issues, so just something he had to deal with, and he is looking forward to being back next season. So again, a beautiful day, temperatures in the 60s, and really, Stan, this is such an interesting matchup, and you just touched on it. Really, this is a game about momentum, because both teams are coming in with some momentum. Obviously, Coastal Carolina coming off that win, just told you what Georgia Southern has done. And as you mentioned, this is a big game today, because both teams want to take some momentum into the offseason.
Last game of the season, you always want to go out on a positive note. It's senior day here at Coastal Carolina, the 2-game win streak. A lot of things moving positive. Yes, it's a 2-9 team versus another 2-9, but it's a very important 2-9 game. So, hey, Georgia Southern, Coastal Carolina, knock yourselves out. Let's have some football.
Georgia Southern won the toss, and they deferred. So they will kick off. There is Tyler Bass, redshirt sophomore kicker out of Irmo, South Carolina. And he's been a terrific weapon. We'll talk about him more as the game goes on, with his extra points and also with his field goal. And on the other end, Marcus Outlaw for Coastal Carolina, the redshirt junior from Norwich, Connecticut. And this one's going to go out of the end zone. No surprise for Tyler Bass. So Coastal Carolina will have it out to the 25-yard line here to begin this afternoon. Well, for Coastal, Stan, one of the big stories, again, you just mentioned this team 2-9, 1-6, and congratulations. This is a program that has been fighting so hard, new to the FBS world, and won a win in Idaho a couple weeks, get their first ever Sun Belt win. There is Kilton Anderson, the junior from Naples, Florida. One of 6 different quarterbacks this year for Coastal Carolina. And first play of the game, and already some players jumping.
Will Landsheet, Logan Hunt trying to anticipate the snap count. Again, this is an important football game for both of these teams. And like I said, you want to play momentum. A lot of these guys that are underclassmen, it gives them one more chance to be on film as you're evaluating next season.
And there's Kilton Anderson. Missed the first 4 games of the season with injury. Makes a first down and 5 from the 30. And another whistle.
Given 5, you take them back.
Offense, number 60.
So what a start here to this one. Back-to-back penalties. Well, more on Kilton Anderson, again, the junior from Naples, Florida, again, injured the first 4 games, but has started the last 2 games. Now actually came off the bench to replace the injured Tyler Keene a few weeks ago against Arkansas and really played well against the Razorbacks out of the SEC. So again, 1st and 10, now back from the 25. And out to Abercrombie, who scampers up near the 35-yard line. He's going to be a couple yards shy of the first down.
Both teams will run a lot of option. You'll see more of the quick option out of Coastal Carolina, and they'll have some varieties off pass, getting the ball to Abercrombie, the leading rusher for this Chanticleer team with almost 600 yards this year, is a good thing. Get him going early, give him some momentum, the rest of the offense to go.
5'9", about 210. He is a load out of Greenwood, South Carolina. 2nd down and short. Anderson to pass. He's going to go deep down the middle. He's got a man wide open. It is caught. Malcolm Williams, touchdown.
Well, we talked about the variety in their option game, and you'll see the little spin there. The play fake holds those linebackers, and this is just a deep post route. Get the ball to Williams. Williams had a huge ball game a few weeks ago against ULM with 266 yards and 9 catches and 2 touchdowns. This time, over 50 yards, another big play. Coastal Carolina striking quick.
67-yard touchdown pass from Kilton Anderson to Malcolm Williams, his 6th touchdown of the season. Well, you see that offset formation that Coastal Carolina loves to do. If you get caught off guard, they'll actually try and do a quick strike, quick pass to get a 2-point conversion. So you always got to guard it. And Raymond on for the extra points, right down the middle, and Coastal Carolina with the quick strike takes a 7-0 lead. And a good start on Senior Day here for Coastal Carolina. Back here in Conway, and what a start for Coastal Carolina. 67-yard pass from Kilton Anderson to that guy right there, Malcolm Williams.
Malcolm Williams is a speedster. There's a little reverse action. That holds those linebackers, and they get all caught in the wash. It's one-on-one coverage. Williams against Monquavian Brinson. Brinson not accustomed to being beat. One of the best defensive backs in the Sun Belt Conference, but too much speed by Williams, and that perfect pass by Kilton Anderson. Chanticleer is on the board.
And for the Chanticleers, they're going to catch a break here, too, as that ball is going to be down at the 1-yard line. Monteo Garrett, the redshirt junior, back deep to receive. Made the catch, slipped and fell down, dropped to a knee.
And not a good start for Georgia Southern. The 11th time this year that Coastal Carolina's had an explosion play of scoring 20 yards or better. A good start. Then on your kick return team, you got to go 99 yards to get in the end zone. Not the kind of start, but the offense has been playing much better, so we'll see what they're going to do.
Yeah, again, this team has completely turned the corner with their head coach, Chad Lunsford. He obviously took over as the interim head coach on a well-publicized coaching change back on October 22nd and just promoted to head coach on Monday. The guy's been playing hard for him. And more movement on the lines here on first down.
77 offense. Half the distance to the goal. Still first down.
Well, the good news is that you could be penalized too far back, you know. Now, there's one thing you got to think about. A lot of the option runs that Georgia Southern will have as you take a look at Shaw Wirtz.
Just a freshman out of Clinton, South Carolina. 872 yards, 6 touchdowns. What a job he's done. Again, a redshirt freshman.
Offense has got to move forward. A hold in the end zone, resort in a safety.
Triple option attack. They're going to try and just push forward, and they barely do get back to the 1-yard line.
Good push defensively by Trey Tolbert, number 93, and Dwayne Price, number 90 inside. Nowhere for words to go. Watch this. This is the only play you really got. Just let quarterback sneak. Forward progress will get him to about the 1.5 yard line, but good defensive push by Coastal Carolina.
And another whistle. So the series for Georgia Southern beginning just like it did for Coastal Carolina with 2 whistles.
We've had 3 plays and 4 penalties.
And actually, I think we have an equipment issue. So Dante Hears, the cornerback for Coastal Carolina, is going to head off the field. Well, the 2 running backs into the game are 2 of the best here in the conference, Wesley Fields and L.A. Ramsby. But again, with no room really to spare at all, Shy Wordstand is just going to take it and just push it back in the middle. Like you said, there's really not a whole lot you can do.
That's the safety play. I mean, you've got to be real smart with the football. You don't want your lineman blocked back into the end zone for the possibility of safety. So now on the 3rd down and about 9-10 yards to go, maybe some short options, maybe a quick hitter, but not a lot to do. Now, McQuavian Brinson, we've already talked about once today, was beaten deep on the touchdown play, but one of the leading defensive backs in the conference. And also you've got a great job there with Malcolm Williams. We'll talk more about him.
Wirtz finds Fields, but it's off his fingertips. And 4th down here as Georgia Southern will have to punt, obviously, out of their own end zone.
You know, Jeff, it's so strange and interesting or whatever that, you know, you get hyped up for a football game and you got everything planned. First play, you got a penalty. Next play, you have a penalty. I run, and then a big explosion play against you. Then you've got a return problem, and it really takes you off sync. So I think you're going to see the body language right now I don't like from Georgia Southern. They'll come back out this next possession and play better, but you don't want to be down 14-0.
Again, this all started on the special teams.
Yeah.
Just slipping and falling down at the 1 yard line. Matt Flynn's got his work cut out for him out of his own end zone. And what a boot, a high spiraling kick that'll be fielded back at the 45-yard line. And staying on his feet, getting into Georgia Southern territory. Nice return by Chris Jones. Preseason All-Conference, a heck of a return man. Just underway here from Coastal Carolina. 12:54 to play here in the first quarter. Coastal Carolina with the early lead. Well, this game could not have started any better here for Coastal Carolina on Senior Day. After an opening drive touchdown, defense holds, and now right back on the field with their offense and Kilton Anderson, their junior quarterback. 1st and 10 from the 45 here in Eagles territory already. Anderson with the pitch out to Abercrombie, and the big man tiptoes along the sidelines. Nice gain. We'll talk about his size, 5'10", 210. Who knew he was so nimble with his feet?
Well, he's a guy that's waited his time, had the opportunity now to play, to start. He's had 6 games where he's had 10 or more carries. He's been dinged up a little bit this season, but a very versatile guy. And yeah, today I think you're going to see a lot of him, especially trying to get him to the outside where he's got a little speed.
Pick up a 4 on 1st down. Anderson on a dangerous screen pass that is caught and gets back to about the line of scrimmage. Maybe a pickup of 1 on the completion to the senior wide receiver, Chris Jones.
Brinson that time reads that quick screen and comes up from his corner spot and makes a solid hit and gets some help from a couple of his teammates. Chris Jones, one of the other outstanding wide receivers on this Coastal Carolina team, came in with 25 receptions. But you see how Brinson's able to get away from Williams on the initial block, get a piece of Chris Jones and bring him to the turf.
3rd down and 5. Anderson pitches out it again to Abercrombie. Diving for the 1st down, and it's going to be real close. Right at the 1st down marker on that far side of the field.
I'm thinking they're going to get it. He got it by maybe a football, Jeff. 1st down, yeah.
Barely gets it.
Nice pitch to the short side of the field. One of the things you like about the ability of Kilton Anderson, he can throw the football, but is a very solid runner. Had a big game a couple of weeks ago against Arkansas with some rushes. Also in the Idaho win 2 weeks ago. Not afraid to run, but given that versatility in this Coastal Carolina offense.
Anderson with the play action. Now room to run. And dives forward down to about the 30. Still a good gain, though, all things considered. About a 5-yard pickup on first down.
Trying to stretch the defense deep. Williams and Jones both covered and just tucks it in. And again, what you like about a quarterback that's not afraid to go to the ground, pick up as much as you can. Now your second down call's a lot easier. 2nd and 5, 2nd and 4. So much easier in your playbook than maybe taking that loss or throwing the ball out of bounds and making it a 3rd and 10, 2nd and 10.
3 receivers off to the left side on the short side of the field. And they hand it off up the middle. Diving inside the 25 is Abercrombie. And picks up another first down.
And Jeff, you talked about the footwork a moment ago, but you see the explosion at the line of scrimmage by Abercrombie. Good job by the offensive line getting off the football. Watch this. Boom. Everybody's holding their block. And then just a little quick dive play. Abercrombie able to pick up 5-6 yards. And again, keeping those chains moving for Coastal Carolina.
When you're right, and that was a great angle. Terrific job blocking up front by the offensive line.
Brock Hoffman, the freshman center, number 76. Jack Franklin, 74. And Trey Carter, 63 to guards.
So another first down and 10. Anderson play action in trouble. And he is going to be sacked back at the 25-yard line.
This is a team now in Georgia Southern that can put pressure on you. Came in today with 18 sacks. Good push there again. We talked about how the offensive line did a good job that time. That time, not able to hold off the good, solid defense.
There's Deshaun Cooper, redshirt junior from Atlanta.
Cooper somehow, in a lot of their coverages, will drop back. He's very versatile at that defensive end. He's got a lot of speed. He's had 9 pass breakups this year in addition to his 2nd sack.
2nd down and 11 here for Anderson at Coastal Carolina. Again, faking the handoff, and again, nowhere to go, and he's going to be sacked again. Back-to-back plays with a sack. And this time it's the middle linebacker, Reese, the junior from Moultrie, Georgia.
Marquia Vote Reese is just a guy that comes from the outside and refuses to be blocked. Keep your eye on 33. Sees it, recognizes, and then attacks very, very quickly. We talked about how quick Anderson was getting off the football a few moments ago. Not able to get away from Reese. His 2nd sack of the season. Had one last week against Louisiana, which was very instrumental in their win. Gets one now, and maybe he's going to possibly take Coastal out of field goal range.
3rd down and 16. It's Georgia Southern defense saying, hey, don't forget about us.
Coastal 51 of 142, which is 8th best in the Sun Belt this year on 3rd down conversions.
Anderson looking left and now throws that way, incomplete off the fingers of Abercrombie. So good stop by the Georgia Southern defense. And again, we've talked so much about the Eagles' offense, Dan. They've scored 86 points in the last 2 weeks. You mentioned the running game, which has been terrific, but the defense has been improved over the last 2 weeks too. They had the shutout a couple weeks ago.
Good defensive stop there, and you've got one of the better kickers in the South.
Yeah.
Not, when I say the South, I'm talking about SEC, ACC, Big South, whatever you want to say. Sun Belt, this kid Raybon can kick the ball, and he's kicking with his right foot today. Right foot for field goals, left foot for punt.
His longest is 52. This will be a 47-yarder, a line drive shot that is no good, wide left. So a missed opportunity for Coastal Carolina, and what a win for the Georgia Southern defense. Keeps it a 7-0 ball game here with 8:12 to go in this first quarter.
Well, give that secondary a lot of credit for Georgia Southern. They made it very, very difficult for Anderson to find any passing lanes. Ran out of time, and then the front 7 did their job. And now you've got better field position, got a little momentum there. Let's see what's going to happen here.
Here are the standings in the Sun Belt. Troy and Arkansas State will actually play tonight for the championship of the regular season here in the Sun Belt. And there you see Georgia Southern and Coastal Carolina. Both teams with 2 wins overall, but both teams that have played so much better. Both with new coaches here over the last couple of weeks. First down and 10 now for Georgia Southern. Wirtz last second pitch, and a lot of room to run for L.A. Ramsby. His first carry. Inside Coastal territory, down close to the 40-yard line.
Triple option football at its best. Georgia Southern, watch this. There's the dive, boom. Everybody crashes there. Now you're running to the wide side of the field. If that cornerback or defensive end elects to go inside and try to take the quarterback, it's a pitch and a nice run that time by L.A. Ramsby.
29-yard carry, 1st and 10, inside Coastal territory. There's a good look at Shai Wertz again, the redshirt freshman. Fakes the handoff, pitches instead to Fields, trying to find some room around the outside, and does a good job of turning it upfield and picking up about 5 yards.
One thing Georgia Southern does a really good job as they're running their offense, they put a lot of pressure on the ends, the defensive end, the corners, the linebackers. They've got to make the exact correct read defensively, and you've got to be a sure tackler because a lot of times you're going to be in one-on-one situations.
2nd down and 5. And the handoff up the middle to Fields, and he's going to be about a yard shy of the 1st down. So 3rd and short coming up here for Georgia Southern.
Getting back to Georgia Southern football where they just knock it down, grind it out, run option after option. If you like running the football, you're going to love the Eagles today. 8 games they've had this year where they've run the ball 50 times or more.
The give is to Ramsby, and he will get to the 30, so just enough for the 1st down before he is clotheslined and brought to a stop. Ellie Ramsby, redshirt senior from Cincinnati, Ohio. Actually recruited as a quarterback, and what a career he has had as a running back at Georgia Southern. He has now moved into 12th on the all-time rushing list here for the Eagles.
A little break in their traditional wishbone of 3 backs in the backfield. Got 2 wide receivers, and these wide receivers can catch the football, that H-back especially, Alexander and Richardson.
They fake it to Ramsby. Wertz is going to keep it and wiggles his way inside the 25. This offense is so tough to stop. And, you and I talked about this in a game a few weeks ago. The big thing that the coaches talk about during the week is eye discipline.
And you've got to have it, like I said, out of those corners, out of those linebackers and defensive end. There's your inside read. Okay, you don't take it, keep the quarterback, keeps it. They've covered both pitch man and dive, but you've got to keep an account for the quarterback. And Wertz, a fantastic young quarterback in this system.
Quick pass that is dropped. It will be incomplete. They're trying to swing it out to Monte Garrett, but he couldn't hang on to it.
They really don't throw the football a lot, so when they do, they try to look for a positive play. You've got Malik Henry's only caught 18 passes. Montero Garrett caught about 3 or 4 out of the backfield. They keep you guessing, and you were exactly right, Jeff, back to what you were saying a moment ago, the eye discipline. You've got to follow your keys, be in the right place. So one thing, if you watch this game, that you really like about the Georgia Southern, their offensive line, they work a lot on technique, making sure players step in the right direction, lead with the right arm, play off the blocks. They do a great job on this line.
3rd down and 3. Fields will not get the 1st down and almost lost the football. So good job defensively by Coastal Carolina to force 4th down. Going back to that eye discipline, Stan, if you can explain that a little bit more, because it really seems like when you're playing a team
here it
like
is
this,
right now. Jalen Walker watching the football. Here's a play. Watch this.
Right.
See, 92, Jalen Walker. He sees his first idea, his first thing he's got to do is watch the dive. That's his responsibility, inside gap. And then there's somebody who's going to pick up everything. What happens is you see a lot of counters. You saw a lot of people moving from one side to the other, and you start following that as a fall in the football. Jalen Walker did a really good job busting that play up. That was a great
48-yard attempts on the way from Tyler Bass, and it is good. Blasted that one, his longest of the year, 48 yards. Knocks this one through, and Georgia Southern on the board. Coastal Carolina with a 7-3 lead. Senior Day, 16 seniors honored here at Coastal Carolina University as we come to you from Brooks Field here in Conway, South Carolina. Again, less than a half an hour from the beautiful beaches of Myrtle Beach. And a good ball game here. Coastal Carolina scored on their opening drive. Georgia Southern just answered with a field goal, so a 7-3 lead early.
I expect this to be about a 20, 25-point ball game. Both of these teams average about 23 a game and give up about 33, 34 a game. So we'll see if we can get some points on the board. You mentioned a second ago, before I forget it, 16 seniors on this team, 14 have already graduated. 2 more are going to do it very, very soon. So they're getting it done on the field and in the classroom at Coastal Carolina.
And Tyler Bass, who just tied his season high with a 48-yard field goal, kicks it out of the end zone, so Coastal will take it out to the 25-yard line.
Jeff, they've had some success getting the ball to Abercrombie on the short side, letting him run. But the passing game is going to open up the run game. We know that Coastal Carolina loves to run the football as well. But I think today that their diversity in their offense can bode well for them. It looks like right now that early on Anderson's got some offensive rhythm. You've got wide receivers that can take the top off of it. So you're trying to get those guys in some matchups. The better they throw the ball, the better they'll be able to run the ball today.
From the 25, some room to run up the middle. Nice hole, and again, terrific job done by the offensive line for Coastal Carolina's Marcus Outlow. A big carry on first down.
Outlow's got speed also, goes about 5'10", 215-pounder redshirt junior. Again, great job by the offensive line. The reverse spin, and then you come down the line of scrimmage. Franklin does a great job holding his block. Outlow reads the opening, gets enough for a first down, or very close to it. I think he picked up 9.5.
If you're a Coastal Carolina fan, you love to see that. Outlow has really been limited as of late with injuries. Second down and short. Anderson turns, hands off again, and good for the first down. So Outlaw with back-to-back carries. Boy, he took a shot. I think it was Todd Bradley who came in and stuck him. Let's see who this is who comes up for Georgia Southern.
Watch this. Man-on-man blocking, you're reading it. Keep your eye on 33. He's getting blocked right there. And he comes up, bam, and that brings him down. I think that was Reese.
It was
against
Reese.
Outlaw. We've already called Reese's name once early this afternoon. 34 tackles on the season coming into this afternoon.
The junior from Georgia. Anderson to pass. Dumps it off to Outlaw down the sideline. Gets a first down inside Georgia Southern territory.
See, I like that. You run inside tackle with a quick play, then you have the reverse action, the fake, and it freezes these linebackers. They come up into the line of scrimmage. Take a look in the middle. Great job by our crew. See the movement by the linebackers, reset that, and what it does is it gives you some space for your wide receivers, in this case your running backs, to get in the flat and pick up 6-7 yards. Nice recognition by Kilton Anderson and a good catch by Outlaw.
Looks like we've got a player down on the far side of the field, so breaking the action here with 3:11 to play. In the first quarter, again, Coastal Carolina driving with a 7-3 lead, and indeed a Georgia Southern player down there on that far sideline. That is R.J. Murray, redshirt junior, who leads a team in tackles. So hopefully everything okay with him as he runs off the field. First down and 10 inside Georgia Southern territory. This Coastal Carolina offense, Stan, looks a lot different than what we saw a few weeks ago, that's for sure.
Well, they're playing with a little enthusiasm. It's amazing. After we had them a couple weeks ago against Texas State, and everybody left here frowning and wet and everything else, you lost homecoming. They go down to Fayetteville, Arkansas, play Arkansas and lose by a point in a game that was, I think, turned their program around. Had a tough loss and went to Idaho 2 weeks ago. Win there, and so they're playing with a little more confidence. They see the fruit of their labor so far.
Coastal Carolina now is going to spread it out with 5 wide receivers on 1st and 10. Anderson, design draw up the middle, and rolls inside the 35-yard line for the first down. And actually, that was Dalton Demos into the game for Coastal Carolina. Again, they've had 6 different quarterbacks this year. Kilton Anderson started, but Demos sneaks into the game here.
You really do need a program when you're watching this Coastal Carolina team. So many guys have come in and played the quarterback position. Demos, only 3 of 11 passing so far this year, but his guy has got some size, can run, and recognize that there was no one in the middle of the field with the 5 wide receivers, took advantage of it and got it 10 yards.
And now Kilton Anderson back into the game here at the 35. Fakes the handoff, keeps it, and he'll pick up about 4 or 5 yards.
I am very impressed with the way that Coastal Carolina is showing a lot of diversity in their offense. Dive, short pass, take the deep pass, go to the flats. They're using the entire length and width of the field, and it's really kind of hard for Georgia Southern to establish a defensive rhythm. As we, you always talk about rhythm offensively. We'll get in the defensive rhythm, the eye discipline, the player movement, the player flow. You kind of start understanding what your keys are. They're going totally against Tennessee so far in this game. 2-by-2 set here, so you know there's going to be a single high safety, and there is.
On 2nd down and 6, Anderson looking to pass. Throws down the right sideline. Back shoulder catch is made inside the 5-yard line. What a pass. And terrific catch. Strong hands by Kyon Tyler, his first catch of the afternoon.
Jeff, there wasn't a lot that you could do defensively about this. This is just Jay Bowdry. Just watch this pass. Thrown in the exact spot, the back shoulder. He's totally covered, but Taylor's able to come back, make the catch, get the first down, and again, keeping Georgia Southern off bay.
33 yards on the reception by Tyler, just a sophomore from Sumter, South Carolina. And on 1st and goal, Abercrombie back into the game at running back. They will give it to him, shoving his way up the middle and picks up a yard.
That was really a nice throw by Anderson. Anderson played a couple of seasons out at Fresno State, was at a junior college, has waited his time. You mentioned it earlier, was injured, missed the first 5 football games, and now is coming in the wake of King and has done a really nice job in playing smart, using his legs and his eyes to make plays. It was a nice pass.
Look out here, 2nd and short, 2nd and goal actually. Demos back in the game at quarterback and Abercrombie running back. Option left, Demos spins and pushes down to the 1.5-yard line. But Demos a big kid, 6'5", about 210, 215. As you mentioned, a graduate student out of Northern Iowa. Oh, just a big kid. That's going to bring us to the end of the first quarter, so we'll flip sides, and it will be 3rd and goal for Coastal Carolina when we come back.
Jeff, Coastal Carolina off to a hot start in this ball game. Second play of the ball game, they go over the top. Malcolm Williams for 67 yards. This has been very impressive. You want to run the ball, you want to put the ball in the air. They've had 5 games this year where they've thrown for over 150 yards, including a big game against ULM. They're going to run it this time and get in the end zone for a touchdown. But the versatility of the offense, run, pass, kick, doesn't matter. Coastal Carolina in the end zone. Touchdown, Santa Clara. I did your job for a second, too. You see, we went right from a replay right into play-by-play and see the versatility of not only Abercrombie, but also Stan Luter. Last week of the football season, and I'm showing you all my skills. Touchdown, Coastal Carolina. You can have it now.
Coastal Carolina showing all their skills as well. And now that offset formation, again, if you do not guard this.
Substitution infraction on the offense, breaking the huddle with 12 men, 5-yard penalty. Field point for try.
Well, normally they have been able to execute that flawlessly. Again, both teams will go to this kind of offset formation, and if you get caught off guard, you'll get an easy 2-point conversion against you. But instead now, as they'll move it back after the penalty, they're just going to go for 1 here. Rabun for another extra points. And got it. So Coastal Carolina strikes again by both air and land. Again, using all their weapons today with Abercrombie and Outlaw, and then also going to the air with Chris Jones, Malcolm Williams, Kilton Anderson. Some big pass plays and a big lead early here for Coastal Carolina, 14-3. 9 plays. 4 minutes, 46 seconds on the drive.
Very impressive offensively by this Coastal Carolina team today. Going into the beginning of the quarter, that first play of the second quarter was the touchdown. 164 yards of total offense for this team. And again, the variety. You can run the football, you can pass. And you hear people say all the time, if you can run the ball, it opens up the passing game. I think for this team today, if you can throw the ball, it opens up the run. And a great job at the point of attack by the offensive line. We give these guys a lot of grief when things don't go well. Give them a lot of credit when things do. And there's a nice block by Trey Carter. Here's the thing about this offensive line, number 63, there's Franklin, 74. The offensive line of Coastal Carolina, all young. Badowski's a freshman. Franklin's a freshman. Hoffman's a freshman. Carter's a redshirt freshman. Ethan Howard, he's an old guy. He's a sophomore.
able to boot it away into the end zone. Georgia Southern's going to take a knee and bring it out.
And I bring that up to give fans of both of these schools the idea, hey, yeah, this game is important, gives you the momentum for next year. Both of these teams very, very young, especially on their front. They'll have a lot of guys coming back. They're going to bring players in. And in Coastal Carolina's case now, they've had a year in the Sun Belt, so they know what to expect. This will be year 4, I think, for Georgia Southern, 1 year with a bowl game. And with the coaching change now, everybody's going to be on the same page. Look for big things out of both of these schools next season.
Well, you're absolutely right. Georgia Southern also a very young team. Matter of fact, they're one of the youngest teams in the nation with just 8 seniors. First down and 10 here for the Eagles. Shai Wertz, one of those youngsters, a redshirt freshman. On the option, keeps it himself and picks up about 4 or 5 yards. Well, that is what is so tough with this triple option offense, is that they just grind you away.
Yeah, but it was a good job of closing down inside by Williamson, number 3. You don't want to let the guy that's got the football, especially the quarterback, get his shoulders turned and turn up the line of scrimmage. Wirtz was unable to do that on that play.
Wirtz on second down and 6 will run again, picks up a couple of yards. It seems like, and we've talked so much about eye discipline, it seems like Coastal's done a really good job. As you mentioned earlier in the broadcast back in the first quarter when we talked about this, each player defensively has a specific assignment.
Gap control.
Yeah.
Gap control is the first thing. And again, that was Price on the tackle. We've called his name a couple of times inside. The first thing you've got to do, take away the dive. After you take away the dive, the next thing you're doing is you've got to recognize there's either going to be the pitch or the keeper. But you've got to have someone covering that. And if you can have the speed to the outside to break that inside, wow, the defense is really rolling. Right now, Coastal's defense seeing everything. Can you continue to make the play?
Third down and 4. Wirtz in trouble. Fires complete across the middle of the field. Miles Campbell makes the catch. How about that play by the freshman Wirtz?
Wirtz wasn't sure, should I run this or do I throw it? You get a look and see what he sees. Turns, gets one-dimensional, got pressure from the outside again by Williamson, and throws a dart to Campbell for the first down.
Blink of an eye, he had a black jersey right in his face. First down and 10 here from the 40. Wirtz on the option, keeps it. 10 again, picks up 5 yards on first down.
So many different variations of the spread option. Even on that time on the read, you could see Ransby was trying to be a lead blocker. Cornerbacks, linebackers on the outside, those DNs are going to be very, very busy this afternoon.
Second down and 5. They give it to L.A. Ramsby, and he pushes forward for just a yard. Well defended up the middle here by Coastal Carolina. Shane Johnson, one of the senior linebackers.
Johnson talking about this football game and that, you know, the season hasn't gone like he wanted it to, but he says our guys have grown up and we've gotten better each and every game. 5 games this year. He's led the team in tackling, leads the team already. 19 in that game against Texas State that we thought was an ugly game. He had a good game, had 19 tackles. But a very solid player as a senior.
Another third down here for Georgia Southern. High snap. Wirtz in trouble, and he's going to be sacked back at the 42-yard line. Well, the defense all over it again here for Coastal Carolina. Silas Kelly with the big tackle for a loss here.
Watch Silas Kelly. Just string this out. Will not let Wirtz get to the outside. Makes him one-dimensional. If you can hold him up, then he knows the posse's coming. Wirtz, Johnson, and a whole host of Chanticleers coming in to make the tackle.
Silas Kelly, third on the team in tackling, a converted wide receiver, believe it or not, and just a redshirt freshman for Coastal. Fourth down as Georgia Southern set to punt it away. Boy, how good is this kid? Matt Flynn booms it inside the 15. Good return, though, as, wow, Chris Jones nearly was able to turn it around that outside, but a shoestring tackle. And they will start inside their own 25-yard line. That'll take us to break. Coastal Carolina on top early. Back here in Conway, South Carolina, the campus of Coastal Carolina University. And Chanticleers with a 14-3 lead here early. First down and 10. From the 23-yard line, Kilton Anderson back in at quarterback. We've seen Anderson and Dalton Demos so far here this afternoon. They'll hand it off on first down, but it's read nicely by the Georgia Southern defense. They looked like they had forced the fumble, but he was down. Pickup of about a yard as we look at the pressure here by the defensive front.
Take a look here. Abercrombie spins. He's down right there. There's just a split second between the ball. I mean, it was loose. It looked like it was loose, but I think it's a good call. He was already down.
Raymond Johnson, the third. Another young player, a freshman. Out of Sumter, South Carolina, trying to rip it away. So he was down, second down and 9 here for Coastal.
Yeah, it's one of the few times where Coastal Carolina's been behind the chains. Can the Georgia Southern defense respond?
At the last second, Coastal actually calling a timeout.
Coastal Carolina. That's their first timeout of the half.
Looks like the play clock had
It'll be a 30-second time.
almost wound down to 0. So a break here with 10:40 to play in the second quarter. Again, Coastal with a 14-3 lead. And two teams that have been through a lot this season, Stan. We talked about Coastal Carolina. You and I have seen them now 3 times. Joe Mowgli was the head coach in his 6th season. He's done a terrific job with the program. And then Joe had to go on a 5-month medical sabbatical. So this guy right here, Jamie Chadwell, who was just hired as the offensive coordinator, now has to all of a sudden take over as the interim head coach. Yeah, it's been great talking to him this year. It's been an adjustment for everybody for Coastal, both for the players and for Chadwell.
This entire program has gone through the adjustment and moving up a division. Then with Coach Mowgli going down, and he's hopes to be, with plans to be back, next spring. And then you get Jamie, who comes in and thinks he's going to be the offensive coordinator. His whole attitude had to adjust, and so they've gone through it. Won their very first game way back in September. Had some growing pains, but have lost 5 games by a touchdown or less. This is a building program, and a big win today would kind of give them some momentum for the spring.
Handoff up the middle, and again, Abercrombie able to go nowhere to Sean Cooper. And Logan Hunt right up the middle. Ty Phillips also in on the stop. He's pushing it back. Now 3rd down and 9.
Ty Phillips is really nasty inside, clogs up the middle. 6'3", 290 pounds, already had a couple of sacks, 26 tackles on the year, got 91 on the outside. That's Hunt. And they move these guys around a little bit, but they're very quick off to getting off the ball. 3rd down.
Anderson buys himself some time. Had a man open down the sidelines, but threw it a little bit too short. It was swatted away.
Played a little zone coverage that time on the backside. Rashad Byrd dropped in coverage and did a really good job of getting his hand on that ball. And possibly, if he'd reacted about a split second sooner, May could have picked it off. But a good job here. Watch this. Drop it in zone coverage. Everybody's pointing. Everybody's talking. And you watch Byrd right there. Good defensive set. You notice 4 or 5 white shirts around the football. Good 3 and out.
High spiraling kick by Raybund, fielded at the 25-yard line. Miles Campbell looking for some daylight, running a long way now, cuts it upfield, a flag all the way back at the 20. Miles Campbell just ran a long way, takes it up to about the 38-yard line, but a flag. A lot of times this will be in the area of illegal block in the back.
Yeah.
We'll see.
It was a block in the back. I think it's going to be on Darian Anderson, number 81. Watch Campbell. Watch right there. See? The guy he was trying to block, he missed and got the second guy, and that's the one that penalty. If he'd hit the first guy, if he'd hit the ears, he would have been fine. He missed ears, hits the second guy, gets the block in the back. So, hey.
You could have kind of whiffed and then hit him in the shoulder blade.
During the return, block in the back, number 81 on the return team. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 6 on the kicking team. Both penalties will be enforced. First down, Georgia Southern.
That'll take us to break with 9.5 minutes left to play here before halftime.
That's
Coastal Carolina with the Coastal Carolina with a 14-3 lead here in the second quarter. Moments ago, we were talking about the coaching change for Coastal Carolina. How about for Georgia Southern? Again, a well-publicized coaching change back on October 22nd as Chad Lunsford was promoted to interim head coach. The guys played so well for him, Stan, they actually made him a head coach and signed him to a contract on Monday.
Well, they wanted him. He's part of their program for a long time. It was a good hire. Everybody I talked to one of the longtime broadcasters, Frank Sikowski, a good friend of mine, said this was a positive change. And you've seen it in the last couple of ball games the way they played also.
Handoff up the middle on first down. Ball comes out. Coastal Carolina thinks they've got it, and they do. Turnover by Georgia Southern.
Coastal Carolina was near the bottom in the Sun Belt as far as turnovers, a -80, 11th best in the conference, but they've come up with all the big breaks. The explosion play early in the ball game to get them to start. You score off the field goal. Watch this. One of the problems is that you got to make sure you hold on the ball, and Ransby just loses his football. Couldn't tell exactly who gets this ball in the pile, but nevertheless the officials say it's going black, and that's the way it's going to go.
Critical turnover, obviously, inside their own territory. First down and 10 from inside the 30. Kilton Anderson back to work here for the Chanticleers offense. Handoff, Abercrombie down to the 25.
Three-yard pickup by Abercrombie, just kind of chip away. You know, any bad break that can go against the team, you have the explosion play to begin the game. But a kick return, you stumble, you start your possession at the 1 yard line. Now, when you feel like you're playing better football, you have a turnover deep in your own territory. Can Coastal Carolina make them pay?
Fakes the handoff to Abercrombie, fires towards the end zone, and incomplete. He had Malcolm Williams wide open.
Jeff, a perfect play call, just poor execution. Anderson thought he had more pressure from the outside than he did. Just got to just take your time and float that under there and let Williams, one of the speedsters on this Coastal Carolina team, run under to make the play. But a very nice call.
Boy, and right after that play, you could see the reaction on Kilton's face. He had put his hands on his hip, slipped down, and he knew that he missed it. But you know what I loved? His offensive line came up and smacked him on the backside, gave him a high five, said, "It's all right." Offensive line's been outstanding today for the Chanticleers.
Did it bring pressure?
Anderson's going to keep it down to the 20, and he's going to be a couple of yards shy of the first down.
Anderson comes up holding his shoulder, wrist a little bit, but they had a little run blitz that time designed, Georgia Southern. They kicked it to the outside, and Anderson goes up that A-gap and is able to pick up about 4 or 5 yards. So now, faced with a fourth down and short.
And they are going to go for it.
I think I would too. Try to get more points on the board. Don't settle for field goals. Defense has got to hold.
And fake the handoff up the middle. Georgia Southern all over and gets the sack. The defensive line with a ton of pressure. Again, the sack on Anderson, and Georgia Southern will take over, and what a stop for the defense.
Well, they guess exactly right. They put a lot of pressure on. We talked about Deshaun Cooper. They move him around a lot from his defensive end spot. Cooper is one of the guys that makes the initial hit. Not a lot of time there for Anderson. He's got to recall, and when he does, Raymond Johnson, Cooper, Bradley, the whole crew said, "Listen, guys, here's what we're going to do. We're going to meet at the quarterback. First one there, he's down."
Raymond Johnson III, again, just a freshman. Big number 92, there he is for Georgia Southern. And what a stop for this defense after what could have been a devastating turnover deep inside their own territory.
Lorenzo Constantini, defensive coordinator for the Eagles, made the right call there. You had the blitz on a moment ago, didn't get what they want. This time they come with it from the middle.
Wirtz nowhere to go. Well defended, and a loss on the play. And that's a perfect example of what you talked about back in the first quarter. This offense puts a lot of pressure on the ends to contain. That's exactly what they did.
Yeah, here's just going to have to come up and make plays. If you're a cornerback or outside linebacker, and in some cases that Mike backer on the die play, you have got to be agile today because they're going to run you from side to side. And when you do, you're going to be a sure tackler because a lot of times you're going to either be beating the blocker or you're going to be one-on-one with the running back.
Loss of a yard on the play. Wirtz to pass down the sideline, and it is caught. What a catch by Wesley Fields. Fields is down on the sideline.
Official timeout. Official
So timeout on the field. Fields 7th in the conference in rushing coming into today. They use him out of the backfield. You see great hands, and boy, you hate to see him down.
They run
here
a
for
little
Georgia
combo
Southern.
route, the wheel route by Fields up the sideline, up the boundary. Marshawn does a little stop route, 23. So you've got an option either to go inside or try to take it over the top. And you see Fields, who, as you mentioned, one of the best runners in the conference and the 10th best receiver on this team. I don't know if he came down on his knee or on his wrist, but you're trying to get those running backs like that. Open space, down the boundary, a nice pass that time by Wirtz, and a really good catch. And you hope you see this guy back up in the soon.
He was on fire against Louisiana Lafayette. Had a career high 186 yards rushing and a touchdown in their win. So this would be a big blow, obviously, for Georgia Southern.
They have used him a variety of ways early in the year. Out of the backfield, in a slot set sometimes, trying to isolate him either on a linebacker or on a slower DB. But you'll see Wesley Fields come down the boundary side. This is a great look at it. See, he takes off in the backfield. Wirtz runs the option. He's got a decision to make. Do I hit the underneath receiver or do I go over the top? And that's perfect execution. He comes down on that left wrist.
The previous play of a catch for a first down is under further review.
Yeah, I was going to say, not from that angle, Stan, but from the one we saw before, because of the injury, it looked like maybe he had lost possession of it, so they're going to take another look at it up here in the booth. See if they tend to Fields on the sidelines. Good to see him up, though. So we'll see if we get a couple more looks at him, what kind of angle we can get. Coastal Carolina here with the 14-3 lead early. Let's see this angle here, Stan, see if we can see anything.
Okay, let's see here. Feet down.
Right
the
there.
ball does bounce out.
You can see it
And then
wobble a bit.
Yeah, the question would be, did he have possession as he made his turn? Right
The ruling on the
there.
field of a catch for a first down stands.
Yeah,
First
because see, I
down.
don't think the ground can call. See, he's got it as he engages to the ground, and the ground can't cause a fumble. So I think that's going to be a catch. But I saw that little wiggly.
Yeah, you can see it just kind of wobble a bit. You can see the nose of the football come loose. So again,
But I feel like he'd done enough at that point in time to get the ball, keep it in play. So anyway, good catch. Hope he gets back out, and here goes Georgia Southern. Offense moving.
Wirtz fakes it to Ramsby, and now the pitch at the last second as they will get close to the 50-yard line. Monteo Garrett with the carry.
Nicholas Clark had a chance to bump into Clark before the ball game. One of those graduating seniors looking forward to going to Billboard. Said he wanted to be an AD one day. I said, okay, good luck to you on that. But a really nice kid, played for a really good program up in Virginia, at Bethel High School. A lot of great stars up in that Tidewater area. And just excited. He comes up on his corner spot and makes a big tackle.
2nd down and 7, just shy of the 50. Wirtz going deep down the middle of the field, and it is incomplete. Looking for Malik Henry, and it looked like it was in his hands.
This is an absolutely gorgeous pass by Wirtz. Got to go up high, make the play, and see he's off balance just a little bit and could not bring it down. Malik Henry, the leading receiver on this Georgia Southern team, could not bring that down, but a nice throw by young Mr. Wirtz.
And that was a perfect example of why this running game going strong now for Georgia Southern the last couple of weeks. It's completely opened their passing game. 3rd down and 7. Wirtz, quick fire, and this one is caught by Henry. Hangs on to it, and that's going to be a first down.
A little bit of version of the RPO. This is more pass than run. But you get Wirtz away from pressure to the outside. You roll him to his right. Ooh, got a hole right there. See that jersey pull? And there's a nice catch. Come back to Henry. Didn't get the play a moment ago. There's a catch.
Wirtz keeps it around the right side. A big gain on first down. It's going to be second down and short.
Brought out of bounds by Preston Henry.
We're going to actually mark him down at the 37-yard line, so about second down and about 4 yards coming up here for the Eagles.
Gain of 6 yards, second down and 4.
Wirtz second on the team in rushing. 10th in the conference in rushing. Fakes the run, looking to pass. In trouble. Now throws down the middle of the field, and it is dropped again. This time Ellis Richardson, the tight end, had it right in his hands.
Ellis Richardson was open earlier and then just continued to float down the field, and Wirtz does a great job avoiding pressure and is going to find him. If you take a look at this play, he's open earlier, gets rid of it, and he's thinking about the end zone before he catches. Oh my goodness, got to catch that one.
Brings up third down and 4.
He'll be looking at tape and then say, oh, okay, coach, you can fast forward through this play. You don't need to look at that. He or Henry. Wow.
Nothing to see here.
No.
Handoff on 3rd and 4 up the middle as Wesley Fields gets the first down.
Man, when you've got the variety in your offense of Fields and Ramsby, and they're really, really high on a kid named DeMarcus Godfrey. And he's a young kid that hasn't played a lot, but he can run the ball too. You got a lot of versatility in this offense, and it works, of course.
Wirtz, the keeper, and a huge stiff arm to pick up about 4 or 5 yards.
This is a nice drive, and you're seeing the triple option with a little more pass. This is the spread option, the new version of the option for Georgia Southern. A little more throwing than we've seen before. There's a dive, boom, keeps it. Got to make it to play. Silas couldn't do it quick enough, and then you got Wirtz. Little stiff arm right there. Get away from me. Makes this second down a little bit easier. Second down about 6.
Wirtz keeps it, finds some room, and tries to back his way for the first down. He's going to be a yard shy.
Jeff, we talk about L.A. Ramsby, we talk about Fields and their ability to run the football, but if you look at this play again, watch Ramsby. He's going to take the fake. We may not see it here. It might be quick enough. He fakes the dive and then leads blocks for Wirtz. And actually laid a pretty good block, too, and the linebacker coming in.
Another third down here for Georgia Southern. The give to Ramsby gets the first down and more. Inside the 15-yard line, and a late flag at the end of the play.
We talked about it a moment ago. L.A. Ramsby from Cincinnati, Ohio, Coleraine High School, came to Georgia Southern as a quarterback, also as a trackster. You see a little bit of that track.
For a late hit on the play. No foul for a late hit on the play.
Watch Ramsby here get away from the tackler. Dive, good block there. Everybody's holding their block, and watch this right there. You think, oh, there he goes. We just talked about Clark. Clark, you may want to be an AD sooner than we think on a play like this. Got to stay low, see what you hit. Ramsey just goes right over it.
Okay. Initially, there was a flag at the play, but
that was just more momentum, I think, than anything.
Yeah, good call. Hand off to Ramsby on first down and pushes his way down to the 10.
We were talking a moment ago about red zone efficiency, and both of these teams have had their ups and downs. Georgia Southern 10th best in the in the Sun Belt Conference, 27-36, but 18 of those 27 scores have been touchdowns. This is one of those times offense is in rhythm. There's a flag down, I think, late, but you want to try to get 6 if you can.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 46 on the offense. Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 46 on the defense. Those penalties offset, both 46 on each team. They have their first unsportsmanlike conduct foul.
So Ross Alexander for Georgia Southern and Miles White on the other side for Coastal.
Alexander, versatile tight end / H-back. Remember the Dean's List at Georgia Southern. Knows better than that. White's a young kid. He's on sophomore. He may not have known it. But nevertheless, penalties will offset, so we got a second down, about 5 at the 10-yard line. And again, still thinking touchdown if you're Georgia Southern. Use your weapons.
Ramsby and Fields in the backfield. Wirtz is going to keep it around the right side. Dives down to the 5. And he's going to be right at the first down marker, a little bit short.
I think he's going to be short, but you love this. It gives you a lot of change of call. Ransby, watch this block to the outside right there. Then Wirtz is using his speed. Dives over just short of the line to gain. Third down, a short one.
Wirtz will get it. And tackled from behind at about the 3.5-yard line.
Other than the fact that something could go wrong, a fumble or whatnot, you're almost kind of happy he doesn't get that first down because it gives you another opportunity in an open down situation to score. So with about 2 minutes and 40 seconds, first and goal at the 3-yard line for Georgia Southern. Very impressive drive. Do you keep it or do you give it to one of those power backs? Got both of them in.
They will give it to Ramsby up the middle, pushing his way inside down to the 1. Boy, hard not to go with one of those guys, isn't it? Fields, Ramsby.
Well, you got all your weapons. You got Fields, you've got Ramsby, and you've got Wirtz. You can also turn the corner. Great blow off the ball by that offensive line. Lower your head, Ramsby just short of the goal line.
Second and goal again, the give up the middle, and this time he is in. Touchdown, Georgia Southern. So tough to stop, especially when you see the big guys up front. Ryan Northrup with the push up the middle. Georgia Southern now to make this just a one-possession game. Again, here's this tricky offset formation with just a single wide receiver set up to the right side, but Coastal guarding it, so Georgia Southern just to tack on an extra point here. Good snap, and Tyler Bass makes it a 14-10 ball game with just 1:53 left before halftime here in Coastal. Here it is again, Wirtz hands it off to Ramsby. In for the score for the Eagles.
Completing a 16-play drive, L.A. Ramsby goes in for his 6th touchdown rushing. Watch this offensive line. Boynton, Northrup, Rainey, Culbreth, and Wilson. They all move in the same direction, step the same. You find one little hole, and Ramsby does the rest, gets in for the touchdown. You look at this offensive line of Georgia Southern, and over the last 2 games, the 2 games they've won, they're averaging total offense on the ground 377 yards. Doing it, and you can see why. They're all young. They've got good running backs. Georgia Southern back in this game, Jeff.
This one will make it to the end zone, and Coastal Carolina will take it out at the 25-yard line. And worth noting again, 16 plays, as you said, 74 yards in just over 6 minutes on the scoring drive.
Twice this season they've had drives with ended in scores of 16 or more plays. A very, very impressive, a very much needed drive if you're a Georgia Southern fan. Now with 3 timeouts and 1:53, if you're Coastal Carolina, I think you got to continue to be aggressive, because one of the things when Georgia Southern's on point, if you remember back those great Georgia Southern teams, you didn't have a lot of possessions. You had to score against them because they would grind you out 10, 12, 13, 14 drive plays. Good hit.
Anderson screen pass. It's going to go for a loss of about a half a yard. And again, we've called his name a couple of times, but Reese right there again.
We really have talked about DeMarco Reese, and he's again another one of those kids from Georgia, played at Mississippi, Northwest Mississippi Community College. And he reads it, recognizes, and responds.
Just under 90 seconds left to play in the half. Anderson looking to pass. Long pass here to the near sideline is caught out the 32-yard line. Josh Anderson. Believe it or not, that is his first catch of the entire season.
That's their second timeout of the half. This will be a 30-second timeout.
Kilton Anderson really had to put that ball on a rope. Ball crosses the hash, across the numbers. Anderson gets down low, makes his first catch of the year, but they're going to be short of the first down, so it's a 3rd and 3. And momentum can switch very, very quickly on this possession. Got to play some good defense, and Coastal Carolina, for the most part, they're hitting you. They're coming up not afraid to hit. You're running the ball a little bit, but big-time tackles. There's the fumble. It wasn't. Ransby sees a hole, gets hit. That time it pops out. They're able to get a field goal. Both of these teams have played a lot better defense the last 3 or 4 ball games. Coastal Carolina, 9th in the conference. Georgia Southern, 8th as far as giving up yards, 422 per game. For the Chanticleers, 411 for Georgia Southern. But today, Jeff, as you look, you see they're spreading the ball out, Coastal Carolina.
With big plays for Anderson, Abercrombie, and Williams, and a huge play coming up here on 3rd down and short. Coastal Carolina 2 for 5 on 3rd downs here today. Anderson under pressure, steps up. And he's not going to make it. Gets back to the line of scrimmage. 4th down and 3. Now Georgia Southern's going to get it back with over a minute left.
43-second possession for Coastal Carolina. And with an offense that was moving like they've been, Georgia Southern, this is a lot of time to get on the board. But watch this pressure. It starts from the outside. Keep the quarterback in the pocket and just chase him down. Cooper gets in there. One of the initial hits was made inside by Ty Phillips, number 96, and he runs into a host of white shirts that are eager to bring him down. You see Richardson kind of comes up, maybe a little gamey with that left arm. Senator Johnson, I should say.
By the way, just a moment ago, you probably heard Ted Pitts, our referee, say, timeout Coastal Carolina, and I'm sure all the Coastal fans, like I was saying, no, that can't be. There's no way they would call timeout.
No.
And they didn't. It was a timeout called by Georgia Southern. That was the last thing that Coastal wanted right now. They would have loved to just have the clock wind down for another 25 seconds. Touchdown, or a timeout rather, Georgia Southern, and now they're going to have a minute 10 to work with here.
The Rayburn average is about 43 yards per punt. Back up at that nice mountain there, but Appalachia has 65 yards. And my reason I'm saying is, if you're Georgia Southern, do you put guys up, try to maybe block this, maybe make him kick it sooner, hoping you're going to get field position, or do you set up the return? It looks like they're going to put a little punt rush. They're dropping back.
Miles Campbell back to receive this one end over end and checks up at the 30. Rolls out of bounds at about the 25. And so Georgia Southern's going to have a little bit of time here. They'll have just over a minute left before half.
Good use of that timeout between the possession change by the Eagles. And the way this offense is running, you run to the sideline, you run. I think this is going to be, and unless they have the explosion play, I think they're thinking 6 with a minute and 1. Probably going to get about 5 plays if you look at their average.
The Eagles going to spread it out a little bit.
One back in the backfield. So you got to remember, you got to defend the boundaries first.
Wirtz rolls out in trouble and just throws it down the sideline, and it is caught out at the 43-yard line. What a catch. So Miles Campbell brings it down. Boy, Wirtz is in all kinds of trouble. Looked like last second maybe he was just going to throw it away, but found Campbell on the sidelines.
They're going to look at this. They're talking about it right now, but Miles Campbell did a really nice job of adjusting his footwork. Notice, and you know what he may have done? And I don't see a flag. He may have stepped out of bounds with his toe and then came back in the field of play. I'm not certain if that's going to what they're going to. That might be what happened. Yeah.
Number 6 on the offense. The ball be placed in the previous spot with a loss of down, 2nd down.
He can't be the first one to touch the football. I'd like to see that again, and maybe the officials are going to view this, but does he step out of bounds? And if he did, it's only by a couple of inches.
Yeah, because he was tiptoeing that sideline, and you were exactly right. Because he was coming towards the ball, but his toes got just on the line.
False step,
and tried to bring it back, tried to sneak it back, but the officials right there on the sideline.
Now with a running clock now for Georgia Southern, don't make a mistake here.
Wirtz throws too high. He was looking for Malik Henry, and that's going to stop the clock. Look back at this play before.
Campbell came in with 16 catches, been a pretty versatile athlete. There's a hesitation. and you can't really see if that left foot steps out, just maybe slid over the line just a little bit. But this is a big third down if you're thinking about getting the football back if you're Coastal Carolina with that incompletion.
Georgia Southern's going to keep it on the ground, get back to the line of scrimmage, so 4th and 10 coming up, and we'll see if Coastal Carolina wants to call a timeout.
They do.
Timeout, Coastal Carolina. That's their second timeout of the half.
Because you have that incompletion on first down and basically on second as well, the clock stops, so you make sure third down, 3rd and 10, you don't get anything. Coastal Carolina may have an opportunity to get the ball back in relatively decent field position. And, you know, we've talked a lot about Rayvon, his ability to kick with both feet. He's got a 52-yarder that happened at the end of the half 2 weeks ago up in Idaho. So that was indoors in the Kibbe Dome, your favorite place.
I've been there.
I've been there. But, you know, I think it's reasonable to think that Coastal Carolina may actually have a shot at this. They've got one timeout remaining, so we'll see.
It takes all day to get there, but it's great once you get there.
Yeah, you can't get there from here, but it's good to be there.
That's right. 30 seconds left to play. Now, keep in mind, also a dangerous return man here for Coastal, so always good to get in the hands of Chris Jones. So he'll be back standing near his own 30. Jones, preseason all-conference, second on Coastal's all-time return yardage list. And a high spiraling kick. Fielded inside the 30. Jones trying to make something happen, but nowhere to go. Well
Great
defended
kick
by Georgia Southern. Yeah, Matt Flynn can really boot it. One of the all-time greats at Georgia Southern.
You've got guys that can kick the football for distance as well as placement. Yeah, it really can affect the football game. You know, what's that third? Special teams, offense, and defense. If you can win those, you know, you can win ball games. Well, just think about that. They were able to flip the field. And for Coastal Carolina to put reasonable points on the board, they're going to have to put this ball down the field at least 45, maybe 50 yards with 21 seconds to go.
4 wide receivers here for Kilton Anderson on first down. Flushed out of the pocket, a lot of room to run up the middle. And slides to a stop at the 38-yard line. Coastal does have a timeout left.
Georgia Southern's front, the last couple of possessions, put a lot of pressure on Anderson. Had a couple of sacks. He's able to get away that time, scramble, pick up some yards. They've got to use the timeouts. But now I think they've got maybe 1, maybe 2 plays left. Run the field goal team out and see what you can get. But again, Anderson has shown me something with his ability to run the football.
I want to go back to that kick by Matt Flynn. And you mentioned it, Stan. I mean, how many games have we seen where you see a punter in late game situations, late end of the half situations, he's punting for maybe the 20 or 25-yard line, and the other team ends up with it after the return up near the 50. And you're right, they're a couple plays away from a field goal. Because Flynn, though, is so good, he pins them all the way back, and now it's going to be obviously a really tough task here with 13 seconds for the shot of clears.
You know, you make a pass of 15, 20 yards on out route, you're not going to be able to throw the ball over the middle of the field, I don't think, if you're Coastal Carolina, and you give Rayvon an opportunity to do that. But you're exactly right. Flynn averages about just a shade under 44 yards per punt. Say 12 of them, 50 yards or better. You give me a guy that can kick the football, I can give you a chance to win some ball games. So let's see how Coastal's thinking now.
No timeouts left here for Coastal. Anderson fires down the sideline. It is complete and out of bounds. Good play as Chris Jones makes the catch and then sprints out of bounds.
Anderson's ability to roll away from pressure, and then again, Jones' speed takes this deep out and then takes it to the outside. And we said you had to protect the line, the outside, and he does this nice pass. Good catch. Take all you can and then go out of bounds.
7 seconds left. At the very least, Coastal's getting to a shot here where they've got maybe a chance to heave it in the end zone.
Field goal team's got to be ready. Everybody's got to be ready.
Trying to go down the sidelines and incomplete, looking for Jones again. So 3 seconds left here in the half.
Home run play now. For Georgia Southern, you send everybody deep. Maybe rush 3, possibly 4. Those DBs have got to be, I'd put them about the 10-yard line, maybe even at the goal line, to be very honest with you. Play everything in front. See how strong Anderson's arm is right now.
3 seconds left. Anderson gets a little heat as he fires it up for grabs, and it is intercepted in the end zone by Georgia Southern. And actually, they're going to try and perhaps bring it out.
Go down, go down.
He came out of the end zone and now able to get back in. So Joshua Moon, who makes the interception, dangerously tiptoeing. He came out of the end zone, then went back in. Then he was in trouble, but he's able to get back out, and that's how the half will end. That could have been a disaster for Georgia Southern. And he gets a little pep talk there from his coach. So that's the end of the half here from Conway, South Carolina. Coastal Carolina, a couple of big plays early, jumping out to the early lead, but then Georgia Southern, a touchdown drive of 16 plays, a field goal, and a 4-point game.
Welcome to the Capital One Halftime Report.
And welcome inside the Capital One Halftime Report as we come to you from Brooks Field here in Conway, South Carolina. Halftime between Coastal Carolina and Georgia Southern. Well, by now, many of you have probably heard of the story of James Madison University and their head coach, Mike Houston. They, of course, won the national championship last year, and they are marching towards another one this year at 11-0. However, with all the wins that this program has experienced over the last 2 years, perhaps what has brought this team together most of all was what happened off the field in a tragic story with their running back, Trey Sharp.
1, 2, 3, go! Madison, James Madison!
When the James Madison football team wins, this is the scene in the locker room. A constant after every victory during the Duke's incredible 17-game win streak. Except for one game.
By the time we got into the locker room, it didn't feel like we won. Instead of, singing the fight song, we said a prayer.
Trey Sharp learned the game of football from his father, David Sharp, a well-respected youth football and basketball coach in their hometown of Carrboro, North Carolina.
I was 7 years old, and I already told my dad, I wanted to be a running back. And so he comes home one day and he tells me, get my cleats ready, we're going outside. And he had cones set up for me. And he taught me how to hold a football that day and showed me the holes of the line of scrimmage.
This summer, Trey was beginning camp for his junior season when he received news about his father.
I got a phone call from my mother, and she had told me that he was in the hospital and he had cancer in his kidney.
David's diagnosis was terminal. Trey would spend much of the next month making the 4-hour drive between Harrisonburg and his home in North Carolina. Then, on September 16th, before the Duke's game against Norfolk State, Trey made a FaceTime call home, like always.
It's around 6 o'clock in the morning. He couldn't really say much, just nodding his head, saying yeah. And it just felt like I had to play the best football game that I could for him. I just remember coming out and just being so zoned in to the game, and it was almost like I was playing with no fans, nobody there, just me, my guys, and the other team.
Trey turned in the performance of his career, rushing for 2 touchdowns and 180 yards.
Every time he hit the field, he was attack.
But early in the fourth quarter, he caught a glimpse of his brother in the crowd.
Around the fourth quarter, got the phone call. Wasn't good news, of course. I didn't want to tell him at first. But he kept looking up.
His head was down and he was shaking his head, and that's how I found out.
I'm really proud of Trey. He had a great day today, and he's having a tough day today. His dad passed away during the fourth quarter of our game today. So that's probably why the guys aren't real jolly up here.
It really didn't even seem like we won the game, just because we knew that he was hurting so much.
My locker is right next to Trey, so one thing I said was, you just had the best game of your career, Trey. I just told him, it's special that your dad's last sight, leaving is you playing like that.
5 days later, head coach Mike Houston and many of Trey's teammates attended the services for David Sharp.
The day that his father passed, Trey had a big ball game for us on the field. And so we gave him that jersey before the service. And at the end of the service, Trey took that jersey up and put it in his father's casket.
It's just a symbol of how much he's done for me, and that just for me being able to wear that jersey and to play this sport is all owed to him.
Welcome back to the Capital One Halftime Report.
Quick look at the out-of-town scores out of the Sun Belt. Florida State trying to become bowl eligible this afternoon, believe it or not. Georgia State and Idaho tied. Lafayette with an early lead on App State. And there you see later on today, South Alabama, New Mexico State. And a big one tonight, Arkansas State and Troy for the regular season championship. More on the Capital One Halftime Report right after this.
I did what you said, Doc. Changed everything.
You switched to the Capital One Quicksilver card. And how do you feel?
Like a burden's been lifted.
Those other cards made you sign up for bonus cash back. Then they changed categories on you every few months. Then you had to keep signing up. You deserve better. Now get out there and keep earning that 1.5% cash back on every purchase everywhere.
Thanks, Doc.
I'm not a doctor.
What? Time to go.
What's in your wallet?
Welcome back to the Capital One Halftime Report.
Now let's take a look at these plays from the Oklahoma Sooners that may have an impact on your Capital One fan vote.
Does it again. Anderson on the carry for the end zone and in.
Oklahoma, some of the most impressive ones of the year, no question.
They've had my back, I'm an theirs.
And don't forget to go to ESPN.com or the SportsCenter Facebook page on Tuesday to give your Capital One fan vote. It's halftime here in Conway, South Carolina.
Larry, you got to get those burgers off the grill.
Doug Flutie? Who threw the Hail Larry?
You mean a Hail Mary?
Tomato, potato, man.
Those are two different words.
Let's go, Dr. Pepper. Hip, let's go.
And let's take a look at today's campus moment, brought to you by Dr. Pepper as we come to you from Conway, South Carolina. Senior Day here in Conway. Just about 20-30 minutes up the road from the beautiful beaches of Myrtle Beach. Stan, we've had
I got
a great
there
trip here.
in about 18 minutes a couple of weeks ago. I was going to Captain George's to get all the seafood I could eat.
Here's some of the stats to look at in the first half. Total yards, 204 total yards for the Chanticleers offense that has been rolling, 134 yards passing. And for Georgia Southern, 98 yards rushing. This is a team that's first in the conference in rushing.
We told you they had about averaging the last couple of games 52 rush attempts, 27 rush attempts for Georgia Southern. Let's see if we'll hit more ground and pound in the second half.
Miles Campbell bringing it out for Georgia Southern, still on his feet, finds some room outside, tries to get around the kicker. He does, and he's out of bounds just beyond midfield.
One of the things Georgia Southern felt like they could do was have success on kickoff returns. Coastal Carolina's given up 4 kickoff returns this season, 2 in a loss here at home a couple weeks ago versus Troy. Great field position to start for the Eagles.
What a return from Miles Campbell. It did not look like he got a whole lot of room early.
And we talked about special teams as far as point after touchdowns, points, and kicks. Now off the kick return. Great job of Campbell throwing everything inside, then bounces to the outside. One guy brings him down. He's going to hear a lot about that. The kicker brought him down. But great field position for Georgia Southern to start the second half.
To the ground to Wesley Fields on first down. Picks up about 3 yards. What a cut by Miles Campbell. That end zone shot we just saw. I mean, he took a hard left and left everyone behind him. What a play. Wesley Fields, again a junior. Career high in rushing yards, almost 200 yards rushing last week at Louisiana.
Now let's see what adjustments both teams will make. Georgia Southern's had a lot of success the last few possessions running the football. A lot of diet of Wirtz, also Fields and Ramsby.
Wirtz keeps it and nowhere to go. Wrestled out of bounds. A lot of pressure being put on him, but he was finally wrapped up and taken down by Silas Kelly.
Great job by Kelly along with Marcus Williamson from the defensive end on the backside. One of the ways you can have a lot of success against option teams, if you can slow them at the point of attack, if your backside guys will be hustling down the line of scrimmage and make a play. That's what Kelly did. That's what Williamson did.
3rd down and 9 coming up. 3rd downs really have not been too much of a problem for Georgia Southern today. They're actually 6 of 10 on 3rd downs. It's one tricky though at 3rd and 9 after the big return. Pass over to Wirtz, who makes the catch. Sprints it down the sideline with room to run. And inside the 20-yard line, rolls down to about the 17.
Hadn't seen that in the playbook this year for Georgia Southern. A 3rd down long situation. You're trying to get some of bits and pieces. Watch this. Run the little option play, make the little flip. You've got Montero Garrett in there, who was also a converted quarterback at one time. Flips it back to Wirtz. Wirtz picks up the yards. 1st down, Eagles.
And now over to Garrett as he returns the favor. And Garrett picks up a couple of yards.
Love the play calling by Brian Cook, using some imagination. You're kind of thinking option. You think option, so you do the little toss sweep. Get all influence going one way, throw back to a good athlete in Wirtz for the first.
2nd down and 8 to now Fields and Ramsby back in at the running back positions. Wirtz, a redshirt freshman at quarterback for Georgia Southern. Does not pitch it, keeps it, spins his way down to the 10.
Last few ball games, in fact, most of the season, you've seen Wirtz and also Cato Brown. Cato Brown would come in maybe the 3rd series of every game. But the last couple of ball games, Georgia Southern's had so much activity offensively that they've just kind of stayed with the hot guy, and that guy's been Wirtz. And you see why on this drive, catching and running.
The give is up the middle to Fields, and he gets his way down to the 4-yard line. Another 3rd down conversion for Georgia Southern. 8 for 12 now on 3rd down conversions.
Wesley Fields hot from last week, 186 yards and a touchdown. This way, little cutback right there. See, he'll put those feet down quickly and gets in there.
Again up the middle to Fields. Maybe picks up a yard. 2nd and goal coming up.
Trey Tolbert from his defensive tackle spot comes in and makes the tackle on Fields. Fields asking for it one more time. We talked about it earlier in the ball game, but worth noting, Georgia Southern 27 of 36 in red zone, 18 touchdowns on the year defensively. Coastal Carolina near the bottom as far as red zone defense.
Wirtz keeps it himself, scrambling, trying to make something happen, gets back to about the original line of scrimmage, and 3rd and goal now coming up for the Eagles.
You know, this may sound crazy, especially in a team like Georgia Southern, which we know runs inside reads, inside dives. But this is one of those situations where you'd love to be able to do something with a pass, a short toss, some type of motion that really spreads the field and makes defenders become one-on-one players.
They're going to have 3 running backs into this game now. They just brought DeMarcus Godfrey into the game. Monteo Garrett is in, along with Ramsby.
And Godfrey, Garrett, and Fields also are guys that can catch the ball out of the backfield.
Third down and goal. Wirtz under center. And a whistle.
Prior to snap, delay of game, offense, number 4. 9-yard penalty, still third down.
So you had to think there was some little trick going there. You go under center for the first time. Basically a one-back set, strong left. Not able to get that off, so you get a little more room. The only good thing about it for Georgia Southern is a little more room to work now as far as going from the end zone in. So we'll see. Third and goal. I think this is 2-down territory for Georgia Southern. Don't think you're going to settle for a field goal here.
Maybe it takes third down.
Yeah, well, they've had a lot of success on third down.
8 of 12. So third down and goal from about the 9-yard line.
Different set now. 3 wide receivers on an H-back. Keep an eye on that H-back. Is that Williamson? It is.
Wirtz lofts it up into the end zone. Ellis Richardson with the catch. Touchdown, Georgia Southern.
Called the wrong name. Meant the same player, though. I said Williamson. Meant to say Richardson. The transfer from Alabama State, but you can feel that he's in the H-back spot right there at the lower part of the screen. Just goes across formation. He's in man. That's an easy 6. Great call. Great execution. Touchdown, Georgia Southern.
When you were right, terrific play. He was able to just sneak.
I could see it. I could see it, but I said the wrong name. I was thinking about the other number 5.
Ellis Richardson. Just 8 receptions on the year coming into today. 2 of those for touchdowns, and he gets another touchdown here. Tyler Bass for the extra points. Good snap. And Georgia Southern with their first lead of the afternoon. The Eagles all of a sudden on top here to begin the second half, 17-14.
Very interesting way to start the ball game. 67 pass. Kilton, Anderson, Malcolm, Williams. Touchdown, Coastal Carolina, 7-0. Later on, just drive blocking inside. My man, Oshamar Abercrombie goes in from 1 yard out. It's 14-3 just before halftime. L.A. Ramsey said, I can go up the middle too. He gets a touchdown, 14-10 at half, and we just saw a touchdown by Georgia Southern. It's going to be a ball game, 17-14. A lot of time left to play in this game. Now, Jeff, take a look at this. Sometimes formation will dictate a play call. Keep your eye on number 5. You know, Ellis Richardson. He's playing a little H-back, a little hybrid tight end. Shows he's going to block, kind of gets everybody influenced that way and just cuts right across the end zone. That's as easy a play as you'll ever get. Your linebacker gets caught in the wash because he's got to kind of defend first to run. Boom. Good pass, good connection that time. Wirtz to Ellis Richardson.
Boy, and the big key to that play, Stan, is exactly what you said. I mean, he totally sold that as if he was going to be blocking.
He does, and then there's influence left also. So sometimes formation can dictate the play. That was a great call and better execution.
So Coastal now will try to answer as Anderson on the keeper picks up a couple of yards on first down.
This is a big drive for Coastal Carolina for 2 reasons. One, obviously you want to get points on the board, but secondly, they need to have a sustained drive because you kind of get the feeling that Georgia Southern's offense is now getting in some type of rhythm. And remember what we said back in the old days, if you didn't score against Georgia Southern, you may not get the ball but once or twice in the quarter because they would just grind you out. And that was a very impressive drive a moment ago that went about 16 plays to get the touchdown. This one went about 8 plays.
Anderson spinning, trying to make something happen, and he is hit hard right at the line of scrimmage. We've called his name a few times here this afternoon. He comes up big again. Logan Hunt with the stick.
Logan Hunt, 6'2 junior, 270 pounds, just reads the play. They string it out. He comes from the weak side and makes the hit. When you got players making plays like that from Washington County High School, comes up with another tackle.
Coastal 2 of 6 on third downs, facing a 3rd down and 7. Anderson with time, runs out of time, gets rid of it, and they'll get the first down. Boy, his line gave him just enough as Kion Tyler comes up with another catch.
Anderson had that clock in his head. He knew he had to get rid of that football. Hunt putting pressure on again from the backside. About a split second late, being able to bring him down. But Kilton Anderson, under pressure, stays there. Watch him come from the outside. Bam, there's the hit. He gets rid of it, but it's a first down. Deshaun Cooper putting the pressure on the quarterback.
Handoff for pickup of a couple of yards for Abercrombie.
That was a big first down if you're a Coastal Carolina fan. Didn't maybe seem like it wasn't an explosion play, but it keeps the ball, keeps the chains moving.
And a player down for Georgia Southern is Raymond Johnson. Just a stud defensive end here for the Eagles. Just a freshman. We talked about his prowess defensively a lot here this afternoon.
From nearby Sumter, South Carolina, so you know he wants to get up, play well today in front of a lot of friends and family, I'm certain. 4 tackles so far in this ball game, and he's a guy that, you know, you're looking to the future of this Georgia Southern team. Look no further than number 92.
Johnson down, and we've got a break. Georgia Southern with the lead. Well, there you see Raymond Johnson, player who was just down moments ago out of Sumter, South Carolina. Putting his pads back on. Hopefully that's good news. See if we can see this again here, Stan, and see what happened.
It's coming just now. See, he's going to be a part of the initial hit right here, and I think it may have been a little stinger there. That left shoulder, looking at him, took his pads off. Looks like he'll be back maybe. We'll see.
Second down and 8. Anderson throws, and it is nearly intercepted. Looked like some grabbing on both sides there, but no flag. So now third down coming up for Coastal again.
I think that was Vildor. We haven't really talked a lot about him. One of the leading interceptors on this Georgia Southern team. He, along with Brinson, gets tied in there with Williams, a little hand fighting like he said, and a good no call. I think both of those guys had a little pushing, a little shoving going on.
Coastal spreading out with 3 receivers down here on the near sideline.
Williams is a good route runner along with Chris Jones, number 8.
I'm going to pitch it, try to run for it. And Abercrombie runs out of bounds. He's going to be well shy of the first down.
And the reason he's not going to make this first down, we talked about those defensive backs having to close quickly. Keep your eye on number 2, R.J. Murray. There's the pitch. Being able to turn the corner. And there's Murray, comes up with a big, solid tackle. It's not a big tackle as far as boom, big play, but he gets the tangle in with the legs of Abercrombie and forces him out of bounds. That's a big defensive play for Georgia Southern.
On 4th down and 4, Coastal's just going to punt it away. And they're going to fake it and get the first down and more. Out of bounds inside the 40-yard line.
Love it, love it.
Abercrombie, the up man, takes the snap and runs for the first down to keep the drive alive. Watch
Jamie
this again.
Chadwell and staff said, look here, we got a few sneaks up there. Look at it. Just a direct snap, give it to a guy that can run the ball. And Abercrombie, he needed about 3-4 yards. He gets it and then some. Special teams can win a lot of ball games a lot of ways. They saw left side strong, got behind his blocking, good call. Keeps the drive going. Don't give Georgia Southern the ball if you're Coastal Carolina.
Well, John won that one down. That could be the play of the game here. Coastal with a chance to tie or take the lead as they keep the drive alive. They go up the middle and pick up a yard. Outlaw that time. Comes up from the bottom of that pile. Outlaw, the transfer from Boston College.
He's had a decent year. After sitting a year, he's got 1 touchdown, picked up about 230 yards, 55 carries. One of those explosive young backs. Be back next season.
On 2nd down, Anderson to pass. Looking down the middle. He's got a man wide open. Touchdown, Coastal Carolina. Malcolm Williams with his second touchdown of the afternoon.
Excellent play calling again by Coastal Carolina, Jeff. You've got Malcolm Williams, another speedster in the slot. Fake the jet sweep. You've got to respond to that. And then you know he's in man coverage. Just send him deep to the post. Very similar to the touchdown that started the football game for Coastal Carolina. A speedster making a play and another perfect pass thrown by Kilton Anderson.
37-yard touchdown strike, and Coastal Carolina has the lead again with 5:52 to play here in the third quarter. Boy, you are absolutely right. I mean, that was just almost a carbon copy of the play we saw in the opening drive.
Anderson had 2 huge touchdowns in the ULM game, set a school and tied a conference record with 266 yards on 9 catches. Today, a very nice ball game, 4 receptions, 120 yards, a 67-yarder, and a 37. Now, take a look at this. Here's the jet sweep action, okay? You got a guy coming, you got to respect that. So that gives you enough time, and then your receivers just got to run a perfect route, go deep to the post. And for the second time this afternoon, R.J. Murray and Brinson and company are beat deep by the speed of Malcolm Williams.
Nice drive. 9 plays, 75 yards for Jamie Chadwell and the Chanticleers. And a 21-17 lead.
Deep passes, option plays, special teams, trickeration. And this will get them all through the cold winter. It didn't get it cold down in Coastal Carolina, though, in the wintertime. Not that cold. But you'll get ready and fall winter workouts, and they'll be ready to go again. This is going to be a team to keep your eye on. Ooh!
Bobbled a bit and out of bounds at the 10-yard line. That has been a bit of a struggle today for Georgia Southern. Remember, that's how the game started.
One thing you'll talk about will be special teams. Miles Campbell, the redshirt senior from Duluth, Georgia, just trying to make a play. You got to be smart sometimes. You got to kind of take a big picture view of the play. That ball's bouncing. Grab it first if you're going to let it roll. And it can roll out of bounds, and then, now you're back in deep territory. You're right. It's the second time they've had bad plays on kickoff returns today. We'll see.
First down and 10 from the 10. Wirtz on the pitch out to Fields. Cuts it back up the middle. And a nice gain. Picks up about 8 or 9 yards on first down. Well, that is obviously critical for this offense. What you do on first downs.
Playing ahead of the sticks. Wesley Fields again. Here's the little option there. There's a dive inside the Ransby. Influence, and gets outside the corner. And once you're able to get those ends sucking in and can bounce to the outside, good things are going to happen for you.
Ramsby ball carrier that time. So enough for the first down as they get it out to the 22-yard line. Wirtz in trouble and sacked back inside the 15-yard line. And what a play. As Anthony Chesley, we haven't talked about him much here this afternoon, makes the play.
Angela Chesley does a really nice job here coming from the corner. Yeah, you guys let this roll. Watch this right there. There's your fake. And see, here's the hesitation. See, he doesn't buy it. He goes to attack mode. He knows he's got help to the outside contain. And what did we say? One of the things you have to do in your one-on-one, you have to be a sure tackler. Anthony Chesley, 51 tackles on the season, comes up with a huge play. Now you're behind the chain. So what do you do as far as a play caller for Georgia Southern? They're having a hard time getting the play in, too. They have to call a timeout.
Timeout, Georgia Southern. That's their first timeout of the half.
Second down and 17 here for Georgia Southern. Well, Chesley known more as an interception guy, but what a huge sack to back up Georgia Southern. Well, again, Coastal Carolina giving up the lead to Georgia Southern, but the offense gets it right back, and we've got a good one here from Conway. Coastal Carolina with a 21-17 lead. Just over 4 minutes to play in the third quarter with Stan Luter. I'm Jeff McCarriger. Thanks to our entire ESPN crew and our producer Chuck May here this afternoon. Campbell in motion. Works back to pass. Airs it out down the middle, looking for Henry. Jump ball, and it's batted away. And once again, well defended by Coastal Carolina. Preston Carey with the defense.
This ball stays in the air just a little bit longer, but let's take a look at Carey. Does he get his hand on him once? I've seen DPI call for a lot less than that. Making a play for the football. Not sure if he really climbed him. Henry's got to really go up pretty strong and try to sell the interference if you're not going to make the catch. But you got to give Preston Carey, only a sophomore, a lot of credit in recovering and making the play. His 9th breakup of the season.
Georgia Southern's had a lot of success on third downs, but third down at 16 here as Wirtz runs to the sideline, out of bounds, and he's going to end up being about 5 yards shy.
This time Coastal Carolina was in a little bit of a prevent set, didn't want to let anything go over deep if they threw it. So they're kind of recovering, trying to make a play. The guys are a little late getting there, but did a really nice job of closing and keeping Wirtz about 5-6 yards away. 4 yards is exactly what they're going to give him for picking up the first down.
And now the secret weapon comes out again here for Georgia Southern, and Matt Flynn, just a terrific punter. This time kind of a wobbling spiral that checks up at the 35-yard line, rolls out of bounds at the 30. So a good stop by the Coastal Carolina defense. Dan, as you've mentioned several times, anytime you can get Shy Wirtz in that offense for Georgia Southern off the field, it is in your best interest because they absolutely dominate time of possession.
They really do, and anytime you can get them off, especially as of late, like we said, rushing the ball for well over 375 yards in their last 2 ball games of which they were able to win, dominating time of possession. It's been a really good thing for them, and this guy's had a good ball game as well.
9 of 15 for 180 yards, a new career high. A couple of touchdowns today as well, both to Malcolm Williams. This time they're going to keep it on the ground, and a run up the middle as Abercrombie crashes up the middle and dives forward across the 45 for the first down.
Number 6 all-time in rushing at Coastal Carolina with just a shade under 1,790 yards. But the power there, grab him by the shirt, can't bring him down, stumbles and bumbles, picks up about 11 yards. First down, and Abercrombie having a great day on senior day.
Yeah, we've got another player down here for Georgia Southern.
You know, when Abercrombie scored that touchdown in the second quarter, that gave him 21 career touchdowns, and he tied, NFLer Mike Tolbert, who was with the Carolina Panthers, and now I think he's with Buffalo. So he moved himself up to number 3, number 4 all time as far as running scores. And he's a guy that sat, waited his time, and now in his senior year has had a very, very solid year. He's going to rush for over 600 yards and he's already graduated and moves on to another career, possibly football, but if not in life. So, hey, congratulations.
It's Marcio Reese down, the middle linebacker for Georgia Southern. We've talked about him a couple times.
A lot. Reese counted so far for 8 tackles and a sack. Looks like he's kind of ginger with an arm or a shoulder. See if we can see exactly what happened to 33. He was the one that was kind of holding on for the ride with Abercrombie.
Well, good to see him get up off the field and walk off underneath his own power. As you can see his season numbers. Just a junior, he'll be back again.
First game of the year, how about this? Had a 22-yard fumble return for a touchdown against Auburn. The only points they really able to score that day.
It's a good start.
That's a good start.
And now Kilton Anderson, again working on his career high, 180 yards passing, back to work on first down and 10 from the 46-yard line. Handoff again. Room to run on the left side is Abercrombie and rolls down close to the 40-yard line. What a day for Abercrombie.
He's smooth. He's got the size. About 5'9", 5'10". Watch this burst. Good block right there. See, he's changed the direction right there.
Yeah.
And you know he's going to get contact, but yet he's able to fight through to pick up an extra 2 or 3 yards.
You know, of all of his stats and career rankings, I think one of the big ones, his career average is about 5.5 yards per carry. They go up the middle again on 1st down and 10. Abercrombie with the 1st down. Inside the 20, a stiff arm. Breaks it outside, inside the 5, and all the way down to the 1-yard line.
This is just want to. Shamar Abercrombie wants to get to the end zone. Good job holding blockers right there. And then everything is him. Breaks one tackle there. Stiff arm there. Get away from me. Good balance. Head up. Knows where the end zone is. Takes a blow inside the 2-yard line. Abercrombie, another huge run.
5'9", 210. Senior from Greenwood, South Carolina.
Give it to him.
It's senior day. They do give it to him, and into the end zone. Touchdown, Abercrombie.
Flag down here. Let's see.
If it stands, it'll be his 2nd touchdown of the day.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 88 offense. Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 11 defense. Those fouls offset will be both players' first unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game.
So it does stand. Obviously, it was after the play. Abercrombie, his 2nd touchdown of the game and 7th rushing touchdown of the season. Again, the senior out of Greenwood, South Carolina. What a day here on Senior Day for the Chanticleers. Raybon on for the extra point. It's a big one, and it is good to make it 28-17. So now an 11-point game with 1:23 to play in the 3rd.
Shamar Abercrombie getting a nice little kick block there by Jack Franklin, 74. Brock Hoffman, the true freshman, 76. Trey Carter, the guard. Ethan Howard. And you give him just a little bit of room, and he finds a way to get to the happy zone. Abercrombie, 2 touchdowns on the afternoon. Had 2 against UMass. The first game of the season, he had 2 touchdowns at 149 yards. The last game of the season, he's got 2 touchdowns. Not sure how many yards he's got, but he's got a lot.
16 carries, and you are right. 121 yards here on Senior Day.
The 3rd time he's rushed for over 100 yards this season. All 3 times he's rushed. In other words, he's the only player this season that's rushed for over 100 yards. So what's that tell you about getting the ball to the big fella?
And updating the big playmakers here for Coastal Carolina. Look at these days. Kilton Anderson, career high. Just talked about Abercrombie, and Malcolm Williams. 4 receptions, 2 for touchdowns.
Williams can take the top off it. Anderson's done a really good job of throwing the ball. That 1 interception before half, you really don't count that against him. The fact that as far as receivers goes with Coastal Carolina, they've got 4 guys that have caught the ball for over 250 yards this year. Williams being that leader at 673, and then you add the 125 he's got for this ball game. So you can see sparks of this Coastal Carolina offense. In the last 2-3 weeks, they've been able to put some things together. The win over Idaho, a week off, and they're ready to end out Senior Day on a happy note.
This ball's going to roll down to Malik Henry, who picks it up at the 19. Takes a big hit at the 30-yard line. A good starting field position here on what is going to be an important drive coming up for Georgia Southern. Now trailing by 11 points.
One of the advantages or good thoughts about the spread option offense that you're seeing out of Georgia Southern is that they have at least have the ability to come back when you're down. In the old days, you ran a lot of triple option, especially true triple option. If you were down 2 touchdowns or something, it was hard to grind that. You didn't have a passing game. They have semblance of a passing game, but I would be surprised if they really go to it a lot. They may throw some, but I think they'll keep it on the ground.
Wirtz on the pitch to Fields. Another good pickup on first down. Takes it out near the 40-yard line.
Wouldn't you keep it on the ground? You got Fields picking about 7-8 yards on first down.
I would. But, as you were just saying, though, Stan, I mean, that's the great thing about this offense all of a sudden for Georgia Southern is that this running attack of Fields and Ramsby has really set up a passing game all of a sudden.
Yeah. And the modernization of college football from a triple option standpoint. Back in the old days, again, you think about those Oklahoma and Texas teams back in the day. If they got behind 2 touchdowns, it was hard to throw the football. They didn't know what passing was.
Second down and short. Wirtz pitches it ahead to Ramsby, and he'll be out of bounds near the 45-yard line. First down for Georgia Southern.
That pitch almost looked forward, and it's okay. The only thing I would be concerned about with my offensive lineman down the field. Another good read.
So first and 10 now from the 45-yard line. Under 30 seconds to play here in the third quarter. Wirtz keeping it, just able to squeeze through a hole on that right side and gets inside the 45-yard line, just flat out showing some speed. It didn't look like there was much there, but able to just needle through the defenders.
Wirtz has got some size and about 6 feet tall and definitely a speedy guy that can run the ball. He's carried the ball by my count now 20 times. He had 7 games where he had 15 or more rushes. Expect to see him run the ball some more. Everybody's putting up 4 fingers. You know what that means? Fourth quarter. It's coming. We got a ball game on us.
Osh Abercrombie, number 32, the senior from Greenwood, South Carolina. Stan, he's having a day.
You see why he was tired? I'm going to tell you why he's tired. Because they've been running him in the second half. 16 carries from Greenwood, South Carolina. You know who else was a star from Greenwood, South Carolina?
You?
No. Ben Coach. Remember Ben Coach? Ben Coach couldn't run like that in between the tackles. Couple of touchdowns. Oshimar Abercrombie having a heck of a ball game today on senior day.
Shy Wirtz on the carry, gets back to the line of scrimmage, second down and 10. You mentioned it earlier, but for Abercrombie, this is the first time he's had a chance to be the featured back. And the reason why is because he spent 3 years as a backup to a guy you might know, D'Angelo Henderson.
Yep.
Of course, went on to play for the Denver Broncos. Actually was here a couple weeks ago on one of his off weeks in the NFL. Wirtz to carry up the middle, dives forward inside the 40. Be third down and about 5 coming up for the Eagles.
3 100-yard rushing games this season for Abercrombie. Now all the attention's turned to the defense. And you see that young Mr. Wirtz just finding ways to make plays, to stretch 2 yards into 5 yards. Wirtz from nearby Clinton, South Carolina, home of Newberry College.
Georgia Southern 9 of 14 on third downs. Third down and 5 here. And the pitch play is not going to go anywhere. Fields knocked back for a loss on the play. Fourth down coming up.
Came with a little misdirection, a little toss sweep that time. Nicholas Clark coming up to make the tackle along with Preston Carey, trying to blow this play up, turn him inside. That's exactly what you've got to do by ears. And when you do that, you've got guys that can come up and help you make the play. Big time, solid tackle by Preston Carey.
Nicholas Clark grabbed his legs and Preston Carey finished him off. You see Carey, number 14, out of Hagerstown, Maryland.
Hagerstown son. We're dropping names today, boy.
I like that. I like it when you go baseball.
I can go baseball, football, basketball.
They're going to go for it on fourth down. They fake it up the middle. Now Wirtz runs up the middle, and he's not going to get there. He's going to be well shy of the first down. And Coastal's going to get it back just on the way here in the fourth quarter with an 11-point lead.
Wirtz is going to be tired when this afternoon is over with because he has been a marked man on the keeper. Good job there. Reads it, tames it to the inside, and he is met by a whole host of Chanticleers. Somebody lost a shoe over there on the other side of the play. You can't tell me these guys aren't hitting on the final game of the season.
Well, you talk about containment. I was looking at that replay. I think it was Shane Johnson, who we talked a lot about eye discipline in the first quarter. And Shane Johnson made sure that he just stayed in his lane, like you've talked about.
Gap control.
And he went nowhere. Terrific job defensively.
Jalen Walker made the hit, then had to chase his shoe down.
The give back to Abercrombie. Out to the 43-yard line. Actually, no, making Marcus Outlaw, so Outlaw getting some carries now.
Outlaw, more of a speedster, as we mentioned, the transfer from BC. Has the speed to turn it upfield. More of a slasher than the power runner of Abercrombie. Sees the hole, attacks it. Solid tackle that time by R.J. Murray, who's had a nice ball game himself.
Anderson hit as he was able to hand it off first, though, as Outlaw picks up maybe a yard. So third down now coming up for Coastal Carolina. Well, Anderson lucky that he didn't fumble that. He was hit as soon as he handed it off to Outlaw. Now, obviously an important play here for the Georgia Southern defense, trying to get it right back. Still plenty of time left in this game.
They've had a lot of success throwing the outside edge. Motion guy leads you to think they're going to toss or toss sweep.
Anderson on the keeper and pushes forward for the first down. Working on a career-high passing, but this time, strong run by the junior.
Bring a guy in motion to the right side as an extra blocker. Fakes just a little hesitation there for the outside pitch, and then he keeps it. Georgia Southern recognizes the play, just not able to get there. Deshaun Cooper. How many times have we talked about Cooper this afternoon?
I was going to say, that's not just anybody he was taking on one-on-one. Cooper's been outstanding.
And the fact that Anderson's about 6'2", 220, his lean forward may have gotten him that extra yard that he needed.
Handoff up the middle. Yeah, that's actually going to be a loss of one on the play for Outlaw.
Jeff, we've talked about it ad nauseum about eye discipline, and that was a great example of that because there was a little option run. You had influence with two guys in the backfield, but the hesitation of the handoff, and if you start watching the play and not the football, you're going to get caught in that wash, and that's going to be a quick hitter that breaks up the middle. Good job defending that.
Well, for Coastal Carolina, there you see it's been a bit of a struggle as far as the passing game goes, but not here this afternoon. Anderson, career high, 180 yards passing. Looking at second down and 11. And a quick little dump off that he left too short for Outlaw. And now third down. Credit the Georgia Southern defense putting pressure on Anderson, making him hurry and kind of short on that pass attempt.
You remember getting back in this football game midway first quarter and part of the second, the Georgia Southern defensive ends were able to come up and put more pressure on Anderson, force a couple 3 outs, got him off the field. That time they dial up a little pressure again. He has to throw that ball short and quick, forcing the 3rd and 11.
Anderson will look over to the sidelines, and Coastal Carolina wants a timeout.
That's their first
Just
timeout
1 second left on the play clock, so they had to burn one here.
30-second timeout.
10-15 left to play, so still a lot of time, but Coastal Carolina with an 11-point lead here at home on Senior Day. And again, both these teams we've talked about just looking for some momentum coming into the offseason. Georgia Southern started the year 0-9. They've won 2 straights. It's been a struggle for Coastal Carolina, but able to get their first ever Sun Belt victory against Idaho a couple weeks ago. You know, I've really been impressed. As much as we've talked about Kilton Anderson and Coastal Carolina's offense, I've been impressed with Coastal Carolina's defense.
Today.
Yeah.
Today, yes. In this, you know, the season is so long, and you saw them play with a lot of emotion. I did. Their first game against UMass, their first game as a full-fledged member of the Sun Belt, and came out and knocked off UMass in a non-conference game, and then played, I guess, a less inspired game on homecoming a couple of weeks ago. against Texas State, a game that we were together for. And so today they've come out and they played with the passion and emotion, and their defense has led the way. And then great running by Abercrombie.
Anderson under pressure, throws it down the sideline, back, shoulder, and it is incomplete. Looked like he was able to hang on to it, but they say incomplete. Might have been out of bounds.
Montravian Brinson says, no, not on my watch, but he was very fortunate. Gets his hand in there. See, that's great. That is what they teach every day in spring practice and fall. Get your hands between the receiver's hand and deflect the ball. And Brinson, the leading interceptor in the Sun Belt, coming in with 5, makes a big defensive play.
Point you hear all the time, too, with defensive backs, finish the play. Stan, that's what they say, finish the play. And you're right, Brinson did exactly that. High spiraling kick. It's a good one and a fair catch made at the 10-yard line. So we come down to the final quarter here with this one. Just 10 minutes left. Osh Abercrombie, one of the seniors, and Coastal Carolina with 11-point lead. Ten minutes left in the fourth quarter. Alongside Stan Luter, I'm Jeff McCarriger. Thanks for tuning in here on ESPN this afternoon. Coastal Carolina at home here on Senior Day, 11-point lead, and Georgia Southern bringing their offense back out onto the field, led by their redshirt freshman quarterback, Shai Werts. Werts has passed for 51 yards. He's run for 66 yards here this afternoon. He's got a work cut out for him here from his own 10. Finds some room around the outside and tiptoes his way down the sideline. And out of bounds all the way up to the 24-yard line, first down.
You brought a term up just a second ago. You got to finish the play. And that was a situation where Coastal Carolina guys just never could finish the play. You thought you had Werts maybe drop for a 2-yard loss and then maybe a 2 or 3-yard gain. And he's able to take it down the sideline, pick up about 12, and give them some room there to run their offense.
Werts keeps it, spins, and down back at the 20-yard line. About a 4-yard loss. Just talked about Shane Johnson on the last defensive series, and he comes up again to help make the stop there.
Shane Johnson, the number 2 percentage tackler in the Sun Belt, came in with 88 tackles. We mentioned at the top of the show, had 4 ball games where he had double-figure tackles, including the 19 against Texas State. Agile, hostile, mobile, all the things you need out of a linebacker. Comes up with a huge play.
Second down and 13. Werts handles the high snap, fires it complete. Well, the screen pass is going to get out to about the 27-yard line. This catch is made by Malik Henry.
We haven't talked a lot about Malik Henry. Again, this is a team that really doesn't throw the football that much, Jeff, as we obviously know. I mean, Georgia Southern came in having run 593 runs and 198 passes. But you've got to have that guy that can stretch the field deep. Now on third down, a long 10, 12 actually. See what you can get doing.
Georgia Southern now 9 of 15 on third downs. Third down and 7 here. Werts showing his speed. Down the sideline, out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Boy, he can fly.
Wow. Third down, 7. You're in coverage deep, and then you roll into the underside. So you say, okay, surely he can't do this. He looks away, get him out of the pocket, and there he runs. You trace him down, you can't get him. C.J. Brewer knew that I can't I try, I can't do it.
Coming up on 7.5 minutes to play. Werts in trouble to the left. Tries to come back to the right. Hurdles a defender and nowhere to go. Boy, and Werts has got to be flat out exhausted.
Dangerous play for your young quarterback to try to hurdle a defender. But again, his speed goes left, doesn't have anything, reverses field. Brewer says, I may have missed you the first time, but I'm right there the second time. Tries to hurdle a player, Preston Carey. We've talked about Carey all afternoon, but there's Brewer, Johnny on the spot, and your quarterback is down.
So timeout on the field with Werts down on the field here for Georgia Southern. And for Wirtz, again, he has been doing it all today for this Eagles offense. 6 of 12 passing for 57 yards and a touchdown. Meanwhile, rushing-wise, 26 carries, Stan, for 88 yards.
Yeah, and he had a 29-carry game for 112 yards and no touchdowns early in the year against Arkansas State, and a 31 the second game against New Hampshire. So he has been a volume ball carrier, but you don't want to see your young quarterback hurt. And now it looks like I was anticipating that Cato Brown was going to come in, but I think they're warming up another quarterback, Anthony.
Yeah, so LeBaron Anthony, you're right, who was warming up. A redshirt junior from Hinesville, Georgia, and that is surprising because you're right, they've used Cato Brown in different spots, and actually, Stan, he's done really well. Cato's a guy who can run a little bit. He's played in 6 games. He's passed for almost 400 yards. But it's LeBaron Anthony who's warming up instead. And there you see Cato Brown standing right next to him, number 13. So Wirtz is going to come out of this game at least for play.
Anthony's only carried the ball 3 times this year, Jeff, for 2 yards. So he's not been the guy that has run the ball, and I don't think he's even thrown it very much. He's only thrown the ball 9 times and had 1 completion. So very inexperienced young guy as far as playing this season, LeBaron Anthony.
2nd down and 11. Anthony looking to pass. Now takes off running and gets maybe back to the line of scrimmage, and that was shocking to say the least. As you just mentioned, 1 for 9 on the season. Maybe trying to sneak something into the zone here against Coastal Carolina's defense.
You get a guy that hasn't been in, you don't think he's going to try to make a play. Had a receiver deep initially, couldn't get it to him, and then just too good a job of coverage and pursuit by Coastal Carolina.
Works back in on 3rd down. We'll see the Eagles 10 of 16 on 3rd downs here this afternoon. Works looking to pass, runs out of time. Runs up the middle, looks healthy to me. He's got a 1st down inside Coastal Carolina territory and out of bounds. And that is going to put Wirtz close to or over 100 yards rushing on the day.
Well, whatever was wrong with him, he got well real quick, you know? You don't think of your quarterback being that big of a rusher, but this is such a viable weapon. It reminds you of the long-time days of Tracy Ham back in the golden days of Georgia Southern football. Just elusive tackles. Close to 100 yards. He's had 3 games this year where he's rushed for over 100. He's getting close to number 4.
Georgia Southern now 11 for 17 on 3rd down attempts. Wirtz looking to pass this time, fires right, and it is intercepted. Preston Carey drops to a knee, but he'll get the interception, his 2nd one of the season.
Preston Carey does a really good job of coverage. This ball a bit underthrown, and Carey's able to recover and jump the route. I love the misdirection action there. Linebackers are dropping. This ball's a little slow getting out there, and Carey does a really great job of recovering and jumping into the intended receiver, Montero Garrett, who's coming out of the backfield. You need a big play on your defense, and you were talking about the defense making some plays. Certainly they stepped up right now for Coastal Carolina with 5:43. This could have been the one that they needed.
From the 24-yard line. Anderson with the handoff to Abercrombie. Picks up about 3 or 4 yards, and I can't imagine, Stan, that Coastal's going to get too aggressive here. 11-point lead, 5.5 to play, and you got Abercrombie who's having a heck of a day.
You use your clock wisely now.
Yeah.
Play clock down to 22, so you don't have to be in a hurry, but you've got to have positive plays, though. You can't be in a 3rd down and long situation, be forced to pass this incompletion, stop the clock. Make Georgia Southern stop you and use their timeouts. Bring this down to about 1. Here we go. Wow.
I think they're going to call it. They do. They're going to call timeout.
I'm a little surprised at that.
That's their 2nd timeout of the half.
So that will take us to break. 4:57 to play. Coastal Carolina trying to put this one.
If if you're a Georgia Southern fan, you're going to ask your defense to be angry right now and come up and make plays. Keep Kilton Anderson out of his comfort zone. Put pressure on Abercrombie. Quarterback in the pressure. Bam! Down he goes. They've had 4 sacks on the afternoon. One more time. Anderson drops back. Can't get anything. The 4 sacks ties Georgia State for the first time this year. Here they go. They got to have a play like that. You got to have one more, another one to get the ball back with time. Let's see what they can do defensively.
On 2nd down and 7, Abercrombie bounces it to the outside and gets right to the sticks.
Didn't quite match the video we saw there, did it? Didn't get to stop.
But a flag back to 25.
See the Coastal Carolina players clapping, and then they stopped. So this may be on the chance.
Ted Pitts, our referee, leading the crew today.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 76 offense and number 90 defense. Those penalties offset. It'll be both players. First, unsportsmanlike conduct, foul, first down.
What was that? I think 5 today that we've had.
Had a lot. We have had a lot.
2 times it's been offsetting.
Brock Hoffman, enrolled back in January, a true freshman, and has done a really good job this year manning the center position, making all the line calls.
And it is
6'3", 310 pounds, and they got the first down, didn't they?
Yep, there's the first down. Coming up on 4.5 to play. Anderson with the give, and it will be a pickup of 1.5 yards.
Yeah, you're in that 4-minute offense situation. If you're Coastal Carolina, find a way to move the chains. You know, get Georgia Southern to use a timeout. And so they're wasting, Georgia Southern guys are kind of wasting a little time right there. They're a little pushing and shoving. You need to go ahead, untangle the pile, and start to line up to get them to initiate possible offense. They're going to run the clock down, but you got to get ready right now. You just can't sit there and start running your mouth right now or get tied up in stuff. Here, 20 seconds, plenty of time for Coastal. They'll take this thing down.
I am totally with you. Look how much time is run off the clock. We're almost 3.5 now.
You can get off the football and then just be ready. I mean, they're going to run it down to 40 seconds, but hell, you got to be ready.
2nd down and 9, a flag. As Anderson keeps it, finds some room, and stumbles out near the first down marker.
Flag down.
Flag just as the ball was snapped.
Illegal formation, offense, 5 men in the backfield, 5-yard penalty, replay, 2nd down.
But really, that's not that big of a deal. I mean, they took almost a minute to run that. I mean, there's only 3:20 now left in the game.
Well, it's a big deal you're losing yards. So now that 3rd down and whatever would have been 4, 5, or 6, now you're faced with a 2nd down and about, 14 is that maybe?
Yeah, yep. 2nd down and 14.
2nd and 14. So do you put the ball in the air? Do you continue to run your option series? The clock is now moving.
Timeout, Georgia Southern. That's their 2nd timeout.
And now Georgia Southern's going to earn a timeout.
2, 3, 4, and the receiver at the line of scrimmage is actually at the back. See? He's behind the marker. He's behind the 35-yard line, so it's 5 guys in the backfield.
And now Georgia Southern, Stan, burns a timeout with the clock stopped.
Yeah. Well, the ball was put in play, I thought, or either they started the clock too soon. I was looking up, and the clock was moving down 3:17, 3:16.
So 3:16 left to play. Georgia Southern down by 11, which is 1 timeout left. Coastal Carolina also with 1 timeout left.
So you got to make a stop if you're Georgia Southern.
And obviously in need of 2 scores. Well, here in the Sun Belt, a couple times we've shown you some of the out-of-town scores, but the big game coming up tonight, that's going to be a fun one. Arkansas State and Troy. And you and I had the pleasure to watch that Arkansas State offense last week at Monroe. 67 points and a Sun Belt record, over 750 yards.
I was trying to get in touch with the clock operator to see if he'd recovered his finger. He had carpal tunnel in his finger because he kept pressing buttons for numbers the other day.
Unreal game.
That was a special game. 9 touchdowns of 20 yards or more. Passes, runs, kick returns.
5 touchdowns in 90 seconds or less.
Oh, my gosh, yeah, it was an interesting ball game. Now, did we see Appalachian and ULL? ULL was knocked off last week against Georgia Southern. Appalachian could win that game and possibly be a two-way tie, because I don't think they didn't play Troy this year. They didn't play Arkansas State this year. But all three of those teams are be bowl eligible, so we'll see them play first. So here we go. What do we got here? Oh, they're rolling.
Wow, 35-7 at the half, App State. Florida State becomes bowl eligible, believe it or not, getting just their 6th win with their win over ULM. And again tonight, Troy at Arkansas State for the championship.
New Mexico State can knock off South Alabama. South Alabama, they're looking for a new coach. Joey Jones stepped down a couple of weeks ago. New Mexico State can be bowl eligible. Georgia State, Idaho and New Mexico State after this year will not be in the Sun Belt. Next year they're actually going to divisions, but this will be championship week next year. That'll be fun. More fun in the Fun Belt.
So again tonight, Sun Belt Championship, ESPN2, Arkansas State and Troy. Well, for Coastal Carolina and their interim head coach, Jamie Chadwell, trying to run out the clock and win one here on Senior Day and pick up their 2nd Sun Belt win. 2nd down and 13 after the timeout. They fake the jet sweep. Anderson's going to keep it and slides to a stop back at the line of scrimmage. We'll see if Georgia Southern wants to stop it again.
They do.
Georgia Southern. That's their 3rd and final timeout of the half.
Last timeout for Georgia Southern. That will take us to a break. Just over 3 minutes left to play here from Conway. Well, the Georgia Southern defense was able to force a 4th down situation, so Coastal punts it away, and the Eagles will get possession with 2 minutes and 15 seconds left, just inside their own 30. Well, Stan, we mentioned it a few times, but worth noting again, especially in this late game situation, that these triple option offenses aren't designed to strike quickly like we saw with Arkansas State last week. So they've got their work cut out for them.
As we said a moment ago, 7 touchdown passes on 178 passes thrown by Georgia Southern this year. So we'll see if they can extend it with some big play runs and maybe a deep throw or two.
Wirtz scrambling and throws it out of bounds. Stops the clock with 2:08 to play. 2nd down coming up here for the Eagles. It's Chad Lunsford, again promoted from interim head coach to be the man on Monday, leading his redshirt freshman quarterback Shai Wirtz. Just on Monday signed him to a contract, promoting him to head coach. When coming into today, Georgia Southern's offense had been rolling. 389 yards rushing last week. 86 points of the last 2 games. Down by 11 here. Wirtz fires and it's nearly intercepted, incomplete.
Was that Carey or was that was Carey? Preston Carey. I'm not certain if he did. The Georgia Southern bench seems to think he got there a little too soon. Let's see if you'll be the judge of this. It looks like there's some contact. But they've been letting you play today, those receivers and defensive backs, so they've been consistent in making plays, so I'll go with it. But now it's a 3rd down situation here.
This could be the ball game here for Georgia Southern, down by 11. Wirtz trying to keep the drive alive out to the 34-yard line. 4th down coming up, and obviously the Eagles will have to go for it.
Not giving up on the play was Marcus Williamson. Pushed out eventually. He and C.J. Brewer were talking about Brewer a minute ago, trying to chase him down. That time had no problem whatsoever. And with 4th down and 5, here is the ball game.
LeBaron Anthony and a quarterback on 4th down and fires it incomplete. No flags. It'll be Coastal Carolina football. Shai Wirtz came out. LeBaron Anthony came in.
Got to find a way to make a play. Silas Kelly been very active all afternoon. Doesn't allow Ellis Richardson to get away from contact. He's there inside coverage. And that pass a little bit underthrown, but a better defensive play that time by young Mr. Kelly.
1:27 left to play, and the math not in favor here for Georgia Southern. They have no timeouts. As a matter of fact, the math is going to completely eliminate Georgia Southern after one snap here. And it will, so actually look who comes into the game. Tyler Keene on senior day comes in here in victory formation. He's a local kid out of Myrtle Beach, and he was injured against Arkansas a few weeks back. Injured his thumb, has not been able to play. They really want to try and get him in here even in just this situation here on senior day, and they do. And look at the smiles on the face of Tyler Keene. Again, a local kid. This program obviously means a lot to him.
Oh, that's what it's all about. Part of the program, thrown for over 1,400 yards and 11 touchdowns on the season. And to get back out on the field one more time on your home turf. Congratulations to Coastal Carolina. Congratulations to Tyler Keene on a nice career.
And they might have to snap it one more time. They're trying to adjust the play clock and the game clock to see if they've got to snap it again. But regardless, even if they do, it's just a formality. This one's going to be in the books here for Coastal Carolina. They do adjust the clock. They set the football, and it's over. Coastal Carolina on senior day. Gatorade Bass for all the coaches. Chanticleers win at 28-17.
When you think about this season, like I said, we saw them at the beginning of the year against UMass. All the optimism for Coastal Carolina starting in the new conference, the new division, to come all the way to the end of the year, and they're still smiling. Congratulations to Coastal Carolina. And look out, Georgia Southern's on the rise again.
That'll do it here from Conway, South Carolina. It was the Chanticleers jumping out to an early lead. A couple of touchdown passes to Malcolm Williams. The junior had a big afternoon, and Coastal Carolina puts it away on senior day to win here in the regular season finale. 28-17 for Stan Luter. I'm Jeff McCarriger as we say good night here from Conway.